just wanna chill around positive vibes. Nothing negative, it would fuck up my vibe and blowing my heart. I just wanna sit back and chill and just sip wine. I came from a dark place, now I'm living that life.
I am intentional, I am abundant. I bring to existence all that I want, and I done tapped into the God in me. Cut my locks off and switched up the vibe in me. Like how I manifest within, how I choose to defend. Who I label my friends, how I make amends. Cause I'm choosing laughter, it's peace that I'm after. I abracadabra, then poof, chakras blast off. My soul take this cast off, projection surpass all. Obsidian protection in case this trip lasts long. I see with 3 eyes, that's why my crown headstrong. Corona is viral to spirits living dead wrong vibration.
I just wanna chill around positive vibes. Nothing negative, it will fuck up my vibe. Sit back and chill and just sip wine. I came from a dark place, now I'm living in light. Came from a dark place, yeah, now I'm moving with the light. Yeah, now I'm like making moves. Yeah, I be always on the flights. Yeah, I be on a mission for the bag nowadays. Why these niggas hating on a nigga nowadays? I've been on a mission with the light nowadays. I ain't fucking with the darkness nowadays.
Strategies, put knowledge in the book. Change our language so we couldn't read it if we look. Convince us we ain't have shit here but disease. Made us 3/5 human and black and legally. Strategies, put knowledge in the book. Change our language so we couldn't read it if we look. Convince us we ain't have shit here but disease. Made us 3/5 human and black and legally. You put your fists up to being African American. How much history you went through for that to make some sense? I've been on Turtle Island 10,000 years. Akubulan been my neighbor. Pangea brought me here. The world didn't start in 1400s. Niggas grow up. What you think we was doing? Morse was running Europe. We been tribal folk, now it's time to show up. Bring back the villages, cause cities ain't got no love. Your melanin addicted to the infliction of pollution. Chemical dependency, nature the solution. Grow your food and medicine, build homes in conclusion. The enemy will tell a lie, infiltration as in manifested by elements ethereal. I knew of terrestrial material. Intertwined celestial of imperial. Infiltrating corporation of oppressive cereal. Resilience is something like a miracle. Observing kinfolk and draconian material. The more equipped for ascension, the more one seems to be treated as inferior. Dr. Umar said, the white man's heaven here, Asian man heaven here, Arabic man heaven here. But the black man heaven fit. The black man heaven fit, cause it lies in death. Release from the trauma debt, release from all the stress, release what we don't confess. In order to live, I guess we must be bodiless. Makes me wonder, if we made out of greatness most fit for this plane, then why we the most hated? Why we the most hated? Was I in court waiting for my sentence? Listening to a witness accuse me of unfitness to remain in these cosmic dimensions? Is that why we repent and we ask for forgiveness? The hours and days, they feel repetitious. Oppressive energy soaking up my minutes. Purple haze blowing smoke on my grimace. Another nobody traveling out of limits. Exiled from cosmos as penance. Or maybe this time it's just the intermission. Like Jesus chapters that went missing. Traveling and gaining knowledge between the dimensions. Christ consciousness bringing me ascension. Kundalini flows up now, where are my intentions? So don't cry for me when my time is risen. Sing some praises, cause you know that I made it. And know you're all my extensions. Yes, you're all my extensions. This is a planetary forecast. I'm going to let you do this. Hold up. So peace, y'all. Welcome to the planetary forecast. We are going over March 20th to April 2nd for like the next 2 weeks in this planetary forecast. Give me a minute. I'm getting it together. All right. Let me know if you can hear me, if you cannot hear me, if it's awful, you gotta ignore if you think about that. And let me know I'm getting myself together for the back. 20 to 14, 17. Hold on a second.
The winner of the Giver Up for the year is Sunshine Monet.
Excuse me, give me that mic. Thank you. Anyway, first and foremost, I would like to thank myself for being amazing. Thank you, self. I would like to thank all the people I had to step on to get here, because you know, heat rises and a bitch is hot. I'm up to the top.
I've been calling you, but you don't pick it up. I'm so sick of it, still why can't I stop? I've been calling you about your kiss and games, your selfish bird telling me to stay. I've run out of patience, but you don't give a damn about the things I do. I'm so sick of the ways, so I take a leap of faith, hoping you will still behave, 'cause I will be here waiting.
I don't know what's up with this.
The winner of the Giver Up for the year is Sunshine Monet.
Excuse me, give me that mic. Thank you. Anyway, first and foremost, I would like to thank myself for being amazing. Thank you, self. I would like to thank all the people I had to step on to get here, because you know, heat rises and a bitch is hot. I'm up to the top.
I've been calling you, but you don't pick it up. I'm so sick of it, still why can't I stop? I've been calling you about your kids and games. Your selfish bird telling me to stay. I've run out of patience, but you don't give a damn about the things I do. I'm so sick of the ways so I take a leap of faith, hoping you will still behave. Cause I will be here waiting.
I don't know what's up with this world. With these men that act like boys, boys that wanna be girls, girls that wanna be boys, and women that act like girls. What's wrong with ya? No, I can't get along with ya. That's why I wrote this song for ya. I hope my prayers make it to the good Lord for ya. Cause you know I break the law for ya. Yeah, you know I risk it all for ya. But can't get the thing after everything that I offered ya. Guess I must be off to ya. That's what them demons say when they be talking to ya. Guess that's why I can't get a ring and you won't answer me no more calling ya.
I've been calling you, but you don't pick it up. I'm so sick of it, still I can't stop. I've been calling you about your kids and games. Your selfish bird telling me to stay. I've run out of patience, but you don't give a damn about the things I do. I'm so sick of the ways so I take a leap of faith, hoping you will still behave. Cause I will be here waiting.
I am like something you never had before. When those to this, you'll be back for more. That's for sure. What you laughing for? The last thing I'm finna be is the last resort. I'm so not put the back and forth. I jump straight to conclusions and I'm out the door. Drop these ends, get you a real one. You always stay in touch with who ain't feeling ya. I don't even know why you deal with them. Cause you ain't getting back what you're giving them. I hate to burst your bubble, it's full of helium. But it ain't healing ya. You never really broke my heart. You just hurt my feelings. And what I learned from this is if you looking for love, don't search for this. Shh. Don't search for this. Said if you looking for love, don't search for this. Shh. Don't search for this. Shh. I'm done calling you. I'm done calling you. Cause you won't pick it up. Cause you don't give up. I'm so sick, I'm done. I'm so sick, I'm done. I'm done calling you. I'm done calling you. You just pay kissy face. You just pay kissy face. Selfish bird telling me to find a way.
What's up, sister? We can Planetary forecast. Let me know if you can hear me all right. For those of you guys who are viewing me on YouTube, because I can't really hear myself. And that's okay. For those of you guys who are on Instagram, just reminding you guys, you are indeed backstage, so you don't get to see all the beautiful presentations and things that I put in here. And if you want to be able to see them, you can move on over to YouTube, Let Nobody's Channel, and you can see all that fun stuff. Because it's fun stuff. We are going to get started. I was looking for something because I was about to go in on y'all, but I think that it's the reason why there is resistance there. Maybe I was trying to give y'all too much in one episode, and that's it. All right, so. So, what is a natal chart? So, a natal chart is a planetary placement when one is born. All living beings have an electromagnetic field, including the terrors of the universe. And those electromagnetic fields have an effect on the chakra centers of oneself. And natal placements are pretty much like where the planets were when you were born, and they have an effect on your personal electromagnetic field. The goal when you learn your natal chart is not to accept them and say this is me, blah 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 blah, but learn how to rise above them. So when you come into your next life, you come in with all new energy, blah 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 blah, because you defeated this energy that was given to you, like that. Some of you guys think that your tropical chart and your Vedic chart are you, like your soul, and they're not really your soul. Your draconic chart is actually a reflection of your soul. This is who you really are. The tropical chart is who you think you're supposed to be, and who you think you're coming into being. And your Vedic chart is actually how you feel you're supposed to be. Two totally different things. And so, if you guys would like a reading in any of those spaces, please let me know. I also can get, read all three to show you how your soul led to the tropical and the Vedic chart to be what it is, because those are the tools that you're given in this lifetime. That's why the goal is to rise above them and not claim them, because they're not necessarily who you are. It's who you are to be here in this plane to get what you need, blah, blah, blah. So, and I teach more about that at the Cosmic Nobody's University, as well as if you do a one-on-one with me. What are chakras? Because here at Let's Nobody's, we place the celestial bodies in your chakras. Peace. Let me know if you can hear me. All right. Because I'm echoing my ears, and I sound very muffled. But yeah, we're infinite beings in our physical form, and although we are in physical form, each of our forms have mental, spiritual, emotional, psychological self. We're just like an infinite being. The physical is just one dimension of it. All right. The balance and imbalance of these selves and centers affect all of our selves. Like, if you have a stomach ache, the energy of your belly is a little off. People come around you and they can look at you and they be like, "What's wrong?" They can tell you what's wrong because your energy is a little off. I think your audio's a little low. I don't know what to do about that. I really don't. Because my laptop won't even take my audio or anything anymore. So I'm doing it through this phone that's fucking trash. It's okay though. Can you hear me well enough to understand me? Because that's really the point. As long as you can understand me. So chakras mean wheel or circle of life. They're connected to our main energy centers of the body, deities, orishas, colors, frequencies, sounds, zodiacs, animals, herbs, blah, blah, blah. All living animals of this universe, the last and the next. The flow of energy in the chakras is called Shakti or Brahmins or Supreme Energy, and they're responsible for releasing the function of one Shakti. The mystic aim is to take the coiled energy that we call the Kundalini that's sitting at the root chakra and release it into the Brahman's unconscious energy. And in order to do that, you have to rise above the cosmos. You have to rise above your natal chart and who you think you are and who you feel you are and come back to your soulful self, your draconic chart. And it's so funny. I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, I want to say, and I was talking about my draconic chart and how it was making sense of some of the things about me and how it doesn't feel totally aligned with Virgo energy. Because, in my tropical, my mind, who I think I'm supposed to be, I'm a Virgo Capricorn stellium, Leo rising, who I feel I'm supposed to be is a Leo rising. I feel like a Leo stellium, and my Vedic chart is Leo stellium and Sagittarius stellium, which is very valid. But my soul is on a whole nother. My soul is a Scorpio stellium, which makes sense of a lot of my dark thoughts and the transformations I bring into spaces, and me being sunshine. Scorpius rules the solar plexus chakra, the experiences in the solar plexus chakra at that. And then when you get into the astrocartography part of it all, I was born in my Scorpio placement. Like, that's the only planet I have over here is Pluto. So it's just like, damn. Like, I'm really supposed to be rising above this stuff to come back to my Scorpio soul. And this is a visualization of the interconnectedness of the planet, your body, the spheres as far as the Kabbalah and the Neteru. So this is basically showing you as above, so is below, as within, so is without. So I'm going to take this out of my ears because this is driving me nuts. But yeah, so as within, so is without. And with that being said, it's like, we look up at the planets are reflecting what we're doing and we're reflecting what the planets are doing. We're all moving in one, we're all moving in unison. And it's a good time. I love it here. And so, excuse me. doing that when I do the astronomical updates is more so to get you guys in knowing of what's going on in the planets. And again, you still have the power to rise above it. You don't have to sit in it. So chakras and astrology, we went over this thoroughly last week. So if you guys want to tap into that video last week, I thoroughly went through this slide, explained, the energies between the masculine and the feminine sides of each chakra, how all your chakras have chakras, how, your chakras are in alignment with elements and the color frequencies, etc., etc. So I'm not going to get into that too much this week because I want to get into something different this week. Again, in alignment of as within, so is without. So even as a body above in the cosmos, your body and the land around us, they're all in alignment with that chakra energy. We're all reflections of one another. And this is also something that you can get read. And this is pretty much like the model that we utilize as far as like the movement of the planets, not so much as like this is what it looks like these are what the planets look like, whatever, but just knowing that the planets kind of move, their orbits are not completely circular. They all do descend and ascend around each other. They have periods of time where certain planets move a little slower than others, where some are at apogee, whereas as far as or perigee at the closest, or perihelion, which is like closer to the sun, all that stuff. So, or aphelion, which is farthest from the sun. So all that's happening. And this is the model that we utilize to see where the planet is in relation to the Earth. And I think this is a really dope model. I don't know if Osafu was in the audience, but if you out there, bro, I saw that you were doing a YouTube page for the flat earthers, and I love that. This is definitely one of those models that could assist you in that realm because they give us, this certain kind of model of how the planets move, and that's what also gives us the ideal of roundness. And also, Safu, at the end of this video, I have a couple other things I'm going to address that will assist you in that space of life. This is another model similar. I kind of like this one a little better. We're currently entering into the Virgo midheaven as the sun is in Pisces, because we're in the Pisces constellation. Even though we've entered Aries zodiac, we're still in the Pisces constellation. All right. Two different lines, the Ayanamasa, which is the difference between the constellations and the zodiacs, is 23 degrees. So we got a little bit of time. We have actually until April 17th when the sun enters Aries constellation, and that's a whole different vibe. It's for sure going to be nice outside. Right now, you're getting the bipolar weather because the sun is still in Pisces constellation, even though it's in Aries zodiac. So some of you guys are like, why is the winter time still coming back? Because we're still in Pisces. Pisces is two fishes going in different oppositions. So you got the going forward fish, going backward fish, and our sun is still in that forward backward motion with, the air, the water. Everything out here is water. We're in a fishbowl. They're back and forth with it. Also, these are the zodiac energies of other seasons. Usually when I do my astrological update, I kind of like speed through this part, but I'm going to take a breath. And we're going to address this page. Let's address it. So we are in the season of Perret. And this season, and this is in alignment with the ancient, what we call today Egyptian. This is the ancient Egyptian zodiac energy. In ancient Egypt, we have 3 seasons instead of the 4, which makes sense because 3 is the number of creation, and the seasons are supposed to be in alignment with agriculture. And what are we doing with agriculture? We're creating it, right? We're creating it. Now, okay, let's come back to the 4. With us having 4 seasons in agriculture, 4 is the number of stability and order and dependability and reliability. And that's where that idea and that mindset of consumerism, we consume, because now we're relying, we're depending on nature instead of being interdependent, instead of creating, we're relying and depending. So that backward flip of the seasons, it might not sound like a big deal, but it kind of is a big deal. So let's come back to the 3. So the 3 seasons are Perret, Aket, and Shemu. Okay, and so right now we're in the season of Perret, which is the season of seeding. We're planting the seeds right now, and it's pretty like self-explanatory. Like seedings, where seeds is going in the dirt. That's what we do. Now, when you get into the season of Aket, that's the dry season. Self-explanatory. It's dry. We're waiting on the rain to come. Then when we get into the season of Shamu, because we're talking about ancient Egypt, that actually was the time where the Nile River would start to flood, and then it would like moisten the soil, and then that's when all the fun stuff starts happening. Woo, woo, wah. So that's the three seasons that we had originally. I'll get into the Egyptian zodiacs with you guys more. It's just so much to put in, and I'm really being limited on social media, and I know people's attention spans are getting shorter and shorter, and so it's kind of difficult to teach people if they can't pay attention, and then I don't like feeling like I'm wasting my time, and that's just my side rant for the day. And that's why I haven't gotten super deep into it. Every time I turn around, my astrological updates are getting cut off shorter and shorter. We also are in the year of platinum. Now, this is calculated by, I did my own little thing, but this is the alchemist zodiac. So alchemy has its own zodiac. It's actually in alignment with numerology. And what you do is you add up your birthday. This is kind of like your life path type of energy, and that's how you get your alchemy number or whatever. So for the current, year or whatever, I just added up 2023, which we know adds up to 7, and 7 is the number of platinum. So now we are currently in the year of platinum. This is a time where like being on the social skills, social innovation, social renovation, just really revolutionize how we socialize with each other is in order. You see a lot of stuff happening with the AI world, with them creating like the VR stuff and being able to like have sex with a machine on your body and you can feel the sensation. I think that shit's weird. But there's some people who have passed away loved ones and they want to reinvent that energy, and there's some people in long distance relationships and stuff, and that's one example. Then you have the social media, maybe not maybe, but definitely like an expansion in social media, more holographic communication, you more so seeing like bodies in your space. And then for us in the spiritual realm, more the Egyptian zodiac is something I want to know more about. Yeah, that's definitely something that I'll start getting into and started, applying more on the astrological update and then a planetary forecast. I just didn't get to it this week. I did a lot this week, and you guys will, if you stick with me, or you come back to this video later on because you're like, damn, she's still going in. I did a lot. This episode is gonna be a lot. But yeah. So another revolutionary energy is like a lot of our star seeds. I don't know if you guys saw like the video on Fox News or whatever. They're talking about star seeds on the news now, ridiculing things like that. Now, a few different things can happen because of that. And we already know one of them. I've seen E.T. and every other movie where people were saying they were aliens, and here comes these weird guys in black suits. In addition to that, which could definitely change. And I always think about that reel where there's these old dudes and they're dancing under a tree in the woods, and it's like me and my homies when they decide to put us in the prison, like the prison finna be lit, like we all finna be in there. So, that is an option, which will definitely change your social skills, but also bringing the star seeds together, being more interconnected, interdependent in the physical is very important. So if your electromagnetic energy is where it's supposed to be, you're going to attract the people that you're supposed to attract. Now, if you aren't attracting those people that feel like you're equal, maybe it's something you need to fix about yourself so you can start attracting the people that you're trying to attract. You know what I mean? But moving on from that, business is also something in the year of platinum. Business exploration, expanding business from entrepreneurs are out there, finding new ways to expand your business, align your business with one another if you let that social and that business energy interact. Eyesight on design and fashion. Keep an eye out on design and fashion because it's coming to the forefront. And actually that started earlier this year when people started paying attention to the Vogue cover with Rihanna and those two people she gave credit to, and then really paying attention to the kind of clothing that people are allowing their children to wear, and also redirecting our energy on what we wear and how we wear it. A lot of us are wearing certain so like I'm starting to get a better understanding as to why in Muslim culture they say don't wear fan t-shirts or t-shirts with other people. I'm starting to see the significance of that as more and more information with Pluto and Capricorn. And now we're in the shadow of Pluto entering Aquarius, which I'll talk about momentarily. But this energy is really revealing like secrets and stuff like that inside of places, the social structures and the authority structures in certain places. And like it or not, celebrities are in that box of authoritative figures, because whatever celebrity says, there's a large group of people that's going to do it. That's their authoritative figure. A lot of people not going to do shit until a celebrity says do it. And a lot of us know that. And we point that shit out, and it doesn't make it any less true. Like, that is a very valid point. And a lot of those celebrities get their coins from the government to tell people to do certain things. And a lot of that information is starting to come out to the forefront. Not so much to my conspiracy theorists that been on this, but to other people that have not been looking at this at all. Is starting to come to the forefront of them. So you'll see the dismantling of that. Also, I mean, I don't really watch the news. I get all my news from the people who bother to inbox me every day, all day, with different links and stuff, and then I'll go on my own little rabbit hole with that. But like, I don't really watch the news like that. I ain't gonna hold you. So I'm not really good on the current events. But if I'm talking about something and it strikes you to tell me about a current event it applies to, feel free to put it in the chat. Otherwise, I feel like I'm talking to myself anyway. But yeah, you have, the structure with the government, people not really paying attention to the government anymore, dismantling certain things, certain truths coming out. A lot of people, Aboriginal people started to realize they're of the native culture, and they really like iced us out and only gave attention to the lighter skin tone, straight hair, straight nose Native Americans. And there's nothing new under the sun. They were doing this over in India, which is why there's a colorism issue in India. They did this on the islands, which is why there's colorism issues between Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Colorism issues in Jamaica, where people are bleaching their skin. Colorism issues out in different countries in Africa, where they're even going as far as banning, bleach skin, and banning celebrities and stuff that come through promoting bleach skin, in their art and their visuals, whatever. So, colorism is another social engineering thing. And to say that it has not been effective. It's been so effective in America that quote unquote Black people don't even realize they're Native Americans anymore, because they're not light skinned enough. Their hair isn't straight enough. Their noses aren't straight enough. They just don't fit the image that's only being displayed in the textbooks. And that's just like really false. So, that's another energy that's coming out, that's being innovated and reinvented and stuff like that. Coming back, family. This is the West African horoscopes. I found a couple different websites that had the same information. So family is from March 6th to April 4th. We got a couple more weeks in this. Excuse me. This is being human oriented. Again, coming back to the number 7 of being social, right? Divine alignment, the desire to help everyone around you, solidarity, empathy, and harmony. And family will always be this native safe haven. That is the affirmation here. Family will always be the safe haven. Come to the family. And family is not always, people that you share the womb with, or, people in your bloodline lineage. Sometimes family is your soul line lineage, which is not always, through the mothership or the fathership you came through, and that's all right. Really just coming into a level of solidarity, empathy, and harmony, especially for my healers out there, because I keep telling y'all this is the year of 7. So what does that make next year? The year of 8. That's the year of justice, balance, Maya. That's the year that we're really going to be called to start putting action towards things. Really, we're going to be called out to really put ourselves in certain positions. If you're not using this year of 7, which is the year of the celestial workers coming together and really devising plans to find the other celestial bodies, the other star seeds around you, and start building and start manifesting, not just your sacral chakra, because I know we love to come together to smoke weed and take shrooms and rub on crystals and have open mic nights. It's a great time. But also come together to secure our root chakra. Are y'all coming together to buy land? Are y'all coming together to grow food together? Are you sharing mindsets? Are y'all helping each other make clothes? Are y'all helping each other homeschool the babies? Are y'all helping each other pull each other's kids out of school, pull each other out of the employment and stuff like that? Or are y'all still looking at each other like competition? Are y'all still looking at each other like threats? Are we still having this division? Because as long as you have that, you'll keep attracting that, and you're still not going to attract the tribe that is on your level. Okay. So be mindful of that in this year 7. Of course, we're still in the beginning of year of 7, so you got some time to get it together, but get it together. We just started the Falcon season in the Native American horoscope, and the Falcon started today, actually, March 21st, and it'll be going on until April 19th. And April 19th, okay, so April 17th is when the sun enters the Aries constellation. So it's like it's going to be a little shifty there. But the Falcon is all about strength, being a great observer, paying attention to things. Don't miss out on anything. Don't lose your ability to see things as a whole. And if you notice, a lot of my downloads this week have been reminding you guys that things are bigger than you. I had a goddess respond to me and say, I'm sure she was playing, but she just responded in a way that basically said, no, it's not. It's about me. And even playing about that shows that there's still a bit in your vibration that's saying I'm about myself. And for that reason, you will not attract your tribe. If you're still being about yourself, you're not going to attract your tribe. You're going to be by yourself. You're going to be by yourself. I need my business. I need this. I need to do that. I. Well, you're going to be I. While everybody's in there, tribe. Okay? So pick a side. Like, do you want to be alone or do you want to be with a tribe? Fine tune your energy so you can attract what it is that you're trying to attract, and be for certain with that. You know, it's going to be a long time before we come back to a year of 7. So stop playing with yourself. Also being brave and persevering, which is going to assist us as we prepare for entering the year of 8. You know, taking some chances, doing some things you've never done before, traveling different places. If you have a star seed that you've been talking to for a long period of time, start planning some physical meetups, especially if you see, like me, myself personally, I will be in Georgia June 3rd. In this meeting, I will finally be meeting up with some star seeds that I have been working with on the internet for a few years now. And now I get to meet them in the physical, and we about to start building physically in together. So I would like to say that I am in divine alignment with the number 7. You feel me? And if there is space for more of you guys to join and things like that, you just have to fine tune your energy to do that. But if you still want some me stuff, or I don't know this, or I'm not ready for that, and then that's what it is. That's the reality of it, because you're in charge of your reality. You create I can't do this. Well, then you can't do it. I'm not able to. Well, then you won't be able to do it. It's really that simple. It's really, really that simple. Also, the rabbit is with the Chinese zodiac, and I got into that, deeper last week too, when I talked about the celestial pole versus the equator. And the equator is what we utilize over here in Western, and that's why we go by the monthly calendar and we go by monthly zodiacs. Whereas with Chinese zodiac, they go by the celestial pole, and that takes a whole year to create a full cycle at the top of, the earth, and that's why their zodiacs last for a whole year. We are in the year of the rabbit. We know rabbits are all about luck, prosperity, fertility, expansion, but also patience. The rabbit always had to learn patience and humbleness in a lot of the fables that we read about rabbits, right? Even in the children's, movies and shows we see today, where the main character is a rabbit, they usually learn some level of, humble humility, or a level of patience, because they're always moving fast. Even their eyes is moving fast and grab. It's all about inner peace, coming to peace on the inside, and just, having that trust that the luck and the abundance is coming. Thinking things through prior to acting is a big thing. So now we're gonna get started with the chakras. We don't really have any placements in the root chakra. We had an abundance in the root chakra last month, and that was a good time. But now we're moving away from the root chakra. So at this point, we're still gonna have Pluto in the root chakra. We're moving from the experiences that we see on the outside of us to, more of an internal space inside, the divine feminine energy, intuition, more intangible things like social exchanges, and just exchanges that you can't touch, smell, taste, whatever with your hands. You hear what I'm saying? feminine stuff. Unity, being one with all is Pluto is coming. That transformation energy is coming. Again, coming back to that energy, it's time to get aligned with your tribe. So you have to get your own self energy together first before you can qualify to do that. And as we have these energies moving away from the root chakra, they're coming up higher into higher spaces because we're moving up into, spring, summer. My Leo is rising. But, overall, over the whole root chakra, hold on, because I keep forgetting, for some oddball reason, there we go. I put a animation on the word root chakra, so it doesn't show up right away. But yeah, so Saturn rules over the root chakra. That's the energy of Babalue, and it's right now it's in Pisces energy. It just entered Pisces energy last week. You have the energy of your challenges, right? The energy of your challenges. When did Saturn entered Pisces on March 7th? Okay, so this is the energy of your challenges, your discipline, and your order. All right, so your subconscious is trying to provide you with those things. I don't know what kind of relationship you got with your subconscious. If your subconscious tells, like, I'll tell you this. Initially, when I first came about, I was all about my subconscious. Whatever my subconscious said, that's what the fuck we was about to do. You heard me? But what happened was, I went through life. I went through a bunch of life challenges that occurred for me, and it put me in a space where my subconscious stopped trusting me to give me information, and I stopped trusting my subconscious because my subconscious was getting me in trouble in the indoctrinated world that I was in. And so, we fell off. We fell off. And then I had a period of time where it felt like my Saturn return was on the way. And it was a few years before the Saturn return, and it let me know, hey sis, I'm on my way. Get ready, ready for me, because when I come, I'm cleaning everything out. I'm not playing with you no more. And it really did. Like, I got to the point where I couldn't ignore my subconscious anymore. If I ignore my subconscious, my whole insides get hot. Like, it really turns into hell inside for me to ignore my subconscious. So I don't do it anymore. Now we dialogue. Because if I ignore it, I'm just going to have an attitude. And it's always going to be an I told you so. Now, hopefully you're not in that place that I was at, and you have come to the place, at least somewhat where I'm at, or even I would love it if you were even further than me. Please be better than me with listening to your subconscious and having a good relationship with your subconscious, because, we are coming into the space where your subconscious is putting you in situations. You're being put in situations, and your subconscious is saying, okay, you and I both know before I even came here, you were supposed to put some boundaries here. You were supposed to put some discipline over here and some structure over here. Now I'm going to put you in some experiences, and now I'm about to start yelling at your ass. Now please get it right. And this is in the 7th house, so it's more so aligning with balance and justice. For those of you guys who are sitting back saying, oh, that's okay, this is okay, that's okay, knowing damn well it's injustice and it's imbalance and it's not okay, but you're just trying to go along to get along, and you don't want to care about nothing and let everything roll down your back. We're supposed to have discipline, and we're supposed to have gatekeepers. It's essential. Every space of order has discipline and gatekeepers. If we want to sit here and talk about our ancient ancestors and this, that, and the third, they have rites of passages. You couldn't just wake up one morning and say, oh, I'm Oba or I'm Oshun. No, you had to earn that shit. You couldn't just wake up and say, oh, I got the energy of Seker in me. There was an order and an infrastructure that brought forth that shit. Like, you don't get to just do stuff because you want to do it. You know what I mean? There is a celestial government that comes together and says, hey, we got to put some discipline and order so that there's balance here. There has to be balance in all things. Oh, let me tell you. Okay, so I read this article recently about how, there's a big ass gap between Mars and Jupiter, right? And then that's where the Juniper belt is at, the Kuiper belt, I'm sorry, where you see all the little dwarf planets and asteroids, all the little rocks and stuff like that. And it said that all those little rocks is the remnants of a planet that was there, but now it's not. It's just like little things there. But it's so crazy. Those little rocks there, those little dust nuggets there is what's keeping the balance and order. Yeah, there's not a big ass planet there no more. If it was initially a planet, but the balance and the weight is still there because the rocks didn't go nowhere. Them asteroids and them dwarf planets didn't go nowhere. They're still there, keeping that balance. So scientists, because they're so out of tune with nature that they want to, control it and shit like that, they decided to create it was a simulation, a computer simulation, but they said, well, since there's such a big space between Mars and Jupiter, let's try to create a man-made planet there that we can go to once we get done destroying this planet because we're so out of tune with nature. Let's put a planet there. And when they did, the whole weight of the solar system caved in on itself. We are at a perfect balance. We are literally at a perfect balance. All this, it's too much this, too much that. No, it's not. We're at a perfect balance. We need to get in alignment. That's the issue. We're out of alignment. And as long as you're going to be out of alignment, you're always going to feel fear. It's always going to feel like lack. You're always going to feel like you're lacking. It's always going to be like that poverty mindset that I don't have enough, that there isn't enough, that we're running out of something. We're running out of money. That money doesn't fucking exist. What do you really need that money for? It's a tool. It's a tool. And when you don't have one tool, you make up another tool, right? Like, bro, if I don't have a screwdriver, I'm using a butter knife. I'm going to get that shit done. If I don't have a shower cap, I'm using a shopping bag. If I don't have gloves, I'm putting socks on my hands. Like, I know how to be innovative. Do you? It's a tool. So if that tool is no longer useful, then you move on to another tool. Y'all gotta realize y'all the real currency, honestly. Y'all the currency. It's not the money. The money only exists because you said it existed. You went to a job, you filled out the paperwork, you signed on the dotted line. You know what? Y'all can pay me with this useless paper. It's good enough. You didn't say, hey, I don't want you paying me in that shit. I want food. I want you to give me housing. Y'all don't even think to go into a job and negotiate a contract. Y'all don't even move like that. Y'all don't think to move like that. There's no empowerment here because you're out of an alignment with nature. You're not even in tune with who you are and what you're capable of. You got to walk into spaces with a certain level of power. And that's okay because the seventh house also rules over contracts and bonds. So expect, with Saturn being in the seventh house, that there is going to be some challenges that are going to happen, and it's going to cause you to create boundaries and order and new infrastructure. And it's going to go towards your one-on-one relationships. It's going to go towards your romantic relationships, your interpersonal relationships, your bonds, and your contracts. So some of you guys are going to feel empowered to go into that place of employment and say, hey, I don't want these pieces of paper no more. I want housing. I want a place to live. I want consistent supply of food for me and my children. I want a clothing stipend. I want this. I want that. Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. You have the power to do that. Will you get denied? You might. You might get denied. But those are conversations that will open up mindsets. Those are conversations to be had. It's innovative. We're coming into the year 7. Like, how are you going to innovate? Especially with Pluto going into Aquarius. How are you going to allow that transformation to occur? How are you going to apply that transformation? Because Pluto rules over authority, right? Pluto rules over power, empowerment. Are you still going to let people have power over the currency you accept? Or are you going to take your power and realize, you know what? I was the one that signed the paper. And if I never would have signed that paper, this will not have happened. And that is my level of accountability. So moving forward, I'm going to move a little different. Is it going to be some backlash at first? Is it going to sound crazy? Yeah. But like, keep moving in that reality you wish to see. That's how you create it. You know what I'm saying? And you're not the only one that feels that way. Like I said, when you fine tune your magnet to how you want it to be, I promise you're going to attract the energy that you're supposed to have. But you have to do that because you're a vibration first. If you don't know how to speak in vibration, it's going to be very difficult for you. You can say whatever you want out your throat. You can say whatever you want. The universe does not speak English. It don't speak Spanish. It don't speak French. It don't speak Arabic. It don't speak Latin. It don't speak the Sumerian language. It don't speak none of that. It don't speak any ancient languages that the Moors or the 12 tribes of Judah. It doesn't speak none of that. The universe speaks in vibrations. So what is your vibration saying to the universe? That is what you need to get in order. That is most important. That's way more important than what you can fix your mouth to say. All right. what was I talking about? Pluto. It rules over the areas of your life that need transformation, death and rebirth, of course. So when you're dealing with those transformations in your social spaces, when you're dealing with those transformations and your innovative energy, like how you go about like fixing stuff, how you go about like, renewing different things, you have to be willing to let some things go. Like certain things that you've been holding on to and stuff like that. You gotta like I had a friend that told me like, her grandmama always told her like when you walk around with your hand closed, of course you're gonna keep a hold of the things you're trying to keep a hold of, but you can't receive. You can't receive with a closed hand. All right. I also got the energy of rebellion. Rebellion energy is Aquarius energy. Detached energy is that energy. Having that knowledge of self and the unity and the power to be one with all of that is Aquarius energy. And we have to have some discipline and order and stuff placed into that. And that also comes to some people in our spiritual community that, first of all, getting these false prophets out of the way, getting these people that are coming in here and utilizing their gifts to continue the American dream instead of the ancestral purpose. You are your ancestors. So you do yourself a disservice by putting aside your purpose, your ancestral purpose for the American dream. You're doing yourself a disservice. You're the one you summoned. So you summoned yourself to go fulfill somebody else's stuff, to go use their ancestor money. That's their ancestor money. It got fucking, what was it? George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, and Benjamin Washington. Those ain't my ancestors. Whose ancestors is those? That's not my ancestor money. So you got this. We need more discipline and order in our social selves, in our community, in our spiritual community. We have to find order in it, because if we don't find order in it, we will be doomed when what we're preparing for finally happens. When it's time where you don't have a choice but to go off grid and unite with the people. If we don't have that discipline and order, if our gatekeepers don't stay gatekeeping and y'all start supporting the gatekeepers instead of saying, oh no, why we can't invite everybody to the barbecue? Why we can't? We're constantly being shown why we can't. Yeah, your neighbor is cool with you, but if something were to pop off, what side do you think your neighbor gonna be on? If the government came today and was like, you know what? Because they already do it, they give certain cultures kickbacks more than they give aboriginals on this land, because they still want us to be disconnected to the land that we're on. So, what if they told people like, oh yeah, we need y'all to move over here, move over there. They do it now with the gentrification. They're doing now with the gentrification. These gentrifiers coming onto the land. Do you think they bother to say, hey, wait a minute, that's not cool. I see what you're doing to the Aboriginals. They don't even call us Aboriginals. They still call us Black people. I see what you're doing to the Black people in that neighborhood. I don't hear not one gentrifier do that. I don't hear not one gentrifier say, hey, how come we have to live in this neighborhood in order for you guys to fix it up? That's not cool what you're doing over there. None of them do that. So for you to be like, oh, it's cool. It's not fucking cool, bro. Not cool. You can coexist without integrating. It's not about hate. Don't think I'm not a hateful person. I rock with everybody. I'm here to coexist with everybody, but I'm not here to integrate. I'm not an integrator. I feel like I know for a fact, looking at the cycles of history, that integration was the worst thing we could ever do. That's when we started to die as a people. We started dying as a people when we started integrating. We lost ourselves. We lost our gatekeeping. We have no discipline. We want to live lawless. Why? Because these people have hired our skin folk to be celebrities in our space and tell us, you can do whatever you want to do. If you want to praise Satan, praise Satan. If you want to be on Instagram shaking your ass and popping your coochie, do that. If you want to wear this fake hair and wear it all down your butt, do that. I know that, the bleach, does something to your scalp. Fuck that. Do it anyway. And you really got these people standing out. And it's funny, you can tell how unaligned people are with nature when you tell them, hey, what you just did, that wasn't a natural thing to do. They get so angry. The angrier they get, the more they're out of line. You know what I'm saying? You just exercise the demon out of their throat chakra. I do whatever the fuck I want. I'm grown. I pay my own bills. Da, 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 da. Who are you? We shouldn't have gatekeepers. Everybody should da. Oh, that's how out of line with nature you are, bro. I summoned the demon out of you. That's bringing that integration into this space. You know what I'm saying? being mindful of stuff like that. But it's okay because Saturn is coming into Aquarius. I mean, not Saturn. Pluto is coming to Aquarius and creating transformation in that space. Also releasing secrets, showing y'all. Now, once Pluto enters Aquarius, I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing because we've already had Pluto and Capricorn showing us this is what the presidents really do. Presidents are just the faces. They're like the president of the company. The president of the company don't do shit. It's the CEOs. It's the chair people. Those are the people that do stuff. It just goes to show you that we are not in a government. We are in a corporation, and we are the products. We are the products and the consumers. And at some point, we have to stop being those things and come into producing outside of this corporation. Now, if you still want to be, chilling with the corporation, whatever, learn how to be your own boss and do business to business. Don't be business to consumer no more, because you'll keep getting treated like consumers. Okay, when I do business to business, right? I have a relationship with that person. We're communicating on a daily basis. We're sharing information. We might even create a level of friendship. And now I'm telling other people about this business. They're telling other people, da, da, da. But when I have a client and they say, hey, and they go on my website and they buy a piece of jewelry, I'm not all up in their inbox asking them about their business. Da, da, da. All they did was go on my website and buy a piece of jewelry. I'm filling the box. I'm putting a nice little letter in there and making it all pretty. Yeah, I'm putting effort into that. But this is not about to be a long relationship. I am detached from this relationship. I shouldn't have to give you the same energy that I would give business to business. It doesn't work that way. I know social media got life fucked up, making you think, oh, this person owns a business and I have access to them, so I'm gonna be in her inbox every day. That's not real life. That's the mind of an entitled consumer. The entitled consumer is the one that's marching on the steps of Washington saying, hey, why won't you look at me? Like, you're a consumer. Buy this shit and keep it, go home. Pay these taxes, buy this stuff, and go home. I don't need to have a relationship with you. You know how many people live in this country? You know how many consumers are in this country? You think I want a relationship with you? You ain't another business. You're not going to do nothing for my business. That's the mindset. And yeah, it's a cold mindset, but that's the world that we're in right now. So what position are you about to play? You got to have that. You got to have that knowledge so you can move a certain kind of way. It's important. But I mean, if you want to play around like you don't have that kind of knowledge and stuff like that, trust and believe. If Pluto wants you to be in alignment, Pluto is going to put you in alignment. It did it when it was in Capricorn, when we had the presidents that we had. We had Obama. I went to a predominantly white high school. When Obama became president, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The things that my teachers and my counselors and stuff were saying on Facebook was wild. And these are people that taught me. These are the people that was helping they actually was trying to hinder my growth, honestly. They didn't want me to do all the things that I was aspiring to do. They wanted me to go to community college. They wanted me to run for treasurer instead of class president. That's what they wanted me to do. That was the kind of energy I was around. But to turn around and see it on Facebook, like, look at this entitled nigger, to see that from teachers that I sat in school with for 4 years, wild. Some of them teachers was elementary school teachers where there was Aboriginal kids in their class and they were on Facebook, using the hard NR word and this, that, and the third. Like, that's wild. But that's what Pluto and Capricorn did for us. It showed us those things. Then when Trump became president, showed us more things. Then when Trump stopped being president, showed us way more things. On hindsight, the hindsight was like 20/40. Fuck 2020. That shit was 40/40. Like, what? Wow. And I ain't gonna get into that too much, but it is what it is. So you seen how extreme that energy was with the structures outside of that. Also in employment, we had the quarantine thing happen. Then people came out of employment having a manager, throughout the week, weakening you and making you wait every 2 weeks for a paycheck. Having all that energy around you. People wasn't with that shit no more. I don't want a boss no more. I don't want employment no more. I don't want my kids in them schools with that authority anymore. That was Pluto and Capricorn providing that transformation in those spaces. You know what I'm saying? We allowed that to happen. We created that. And here we are. So now when Pluto enters Aquarius, it's coming more towards our social spaces, our rebellious spaces, our revolutionary spaces, all right? And then, we're in the 6th house. So it's in your daily routines and stuff like that. And we won't have any energy in Capricorn. So it won't really be too much in our experiences at first. But just to let you know, even though Pluto enters Aquarius, Pluto goes in retrograde for a few months. So Pluto's going to go in retrograde, I believe, in the beginning of May. And so after a while, of course, after a couple months, it'll be back in a Capricorn. So after we get all these transformations in our social self and our detached self and all these people that want to be out here in a conscious community, being lawless, even, I feel like everybody's allowed to have their place. Even though I don't feel nothing about religion, I respect those that still go to church. I respect those that still want to be in those different religions. And for that reason, I would never go into those religions and say, why don't you accept someone like me? Y'all should transform y'all stuff because I don't even want to be in those places. If I don't want to be in those places, why would I go there and do a bunch of stuff? But we have humans who do that. All right. So may this experience as well, like create some transformation in that space as well. Let them be gatekeepers of their church. Let them be gatekeepers of their church. Let them be the gatekeepers of their religion. I don't think that it's cool that people are creating secular Christian music. That's not what Christianity is. Despite how I feel, I'm not a Christian. I don't give a fuck about that shit. Y'all know where I stand at spiritually. But I still respect their walk. They should be allowed to have their shit. If that's what they have to experience in this lifetime, then let them have that. Why would you infiltrate their stuff and say, oh, well, since y'all not allowing me to be here, I'm going to go to the government and tattletale on you until they make a law that says you cannot exclude me. Like, that's wild. Why not just make your own church? Why not just make your own walk, your own spiritual building where you can do whatever the fuck you want to do in there? You can make whatever kind of contracts you want to make. Like, you buy a Cabbage Patch doll, you sign a contract. I've been signing contracts since I was like 3 years old with all my baby dolls that came with birth certificates and stuff like that. Like, we have the power to do those things, but if you're not walking in your own power and you're trying to rely on other people's stuff, it's okay, because Pluto's going in Aquarius to fix all of that. And we just gotta like let it be and let it do what it's gonna do. So that is my energy for the root chakra. I give that a lot of energy. But we're coming into the Six of Pentacles, materializing, creating in this space. We're coming into the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles being the mother in this space. Divine feminine energy in this space. The Four of Cups. We need a balance in our emotions in our space. Y'all need to get your emotions in order when it comes to the root chakra. The root chakra is not about how you feel. That's what the sacral chakra is for. That's what the heart chakra is for. The root chakra is for the discipline and order. If you're putting your feelings all over the place, there's imbalance here. And that's why I don't like integration. Because as above, so is below, as out there. You see a whole bunch of integration and melting, and there's no discipline, no order, no infrastructure, no gatekeepers in any of these sections of life. And then you go inside and see the same thing. There's no discipline and order in here. Everything is infiltrated by my feelings. I feel like this, so there's no discipline. I feel like this, so I'm not listening to my subconscious. I feel like this, so fuck my third eye, because my feelings should trump over all that stuff. And that's just, it's not okay. But it's okay, because Pluto's going to Aquarius. And then the last card I'm going to pull for our root chakra is Nine of Cups, coming into completion. By the end of Aquarius should be in, Pluto should be in Aquarius for about like 15 to 18 years. After it does the retrograde thing and then comes back in 2024. So once it comes back in 2024, we got about a good like 17 years with Pluto and Aquarius. So with that being said, you want to, by the time we get to the end of that year, we're going to be at completion with the emotions. You're going to know how to separate your emotions from all your other chakras, from what you need to get done. You're going to learn how to separate your emotions from that discipline and order and the way things are. When I talk to people about how corporation and business, and I fall for this too because I'm a Leo rising. I'm led by my heart. My experiences are about my emotions. So learning how to separate my emotions from business is like, this is how business works. You can't be emotional in here because you're going to muddy everything up. You're going to muddy everything up. And another alignment that I utilize is, say my my kidney cells were like, oh, I don't feel like being in the kidney no more. This is no fun. But if you go look at the heart organ, the heart is having all the fun. I want to go to the heart. And then my kidney cells decide to go into my heart. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. That's not the way the body works. All of the organs, all of the cells, all the organelles on my body have semi-permeable membranes. That means that everything is not allowed to get through. Only certain things are allowed to get through my cells. But if I keep eating a whole bunch of bullshit, like if I eat a bunch of sugars to the where like my blood is oversaturated with sugar, eventually those sugar crystals are going to start puncturing things. And then that's when the infiltration occurs. Where do we get sugars from? A lot of this food, a lot of the food, the drugs, PCs, all that stuff. You know, as within, so is without. For real, for real. You gotta start seeing stuff that way. Coming into the sacral chakra, this is where your being is established. Now we're coming into the space of joy. This is where you're going to feel joy and sexuality and sensuality. Now you can tap into, oh, I don't feel like, or this doesn't make me feel good, blah, 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 blah. Now we're taking the discipline and order and we're bringing it into wisdom. All right, we're softening it up. But when it's in the root chakra, it's not supposed to be soft. Nothing in why would I want a house with a soft ass foundation? I don't want a soft ass foundation. I want soft couches. I want a soft carpet. That's what I want to be soft. I want soft mattresses. I don't want a soft ass floor. I don't want soft walls. I don't want soft pillars in my walls. That's not how it works. That's not a strong foundation. So to put your feelings and say, oh, the wall should be soft because I love the way softness feels, and it feels good. Softness feels, we know softness feels good, but softness has a time and place, and it doesn't have a time and place when you're building the basement to your house. It just doesn't. And you got to look at yourself that way. You got to give yourself that kind of honor. So now we're coming into a little bit of the softness. And over here, we have Jupiter orbital ruling this energy, and it's sitting in new beginnings. We're in the new beginning space with this. We'll be in the new beginning space all the way up until April 2nd. So, and we're going from the 8th house of transformation to the 9th house of expansion. So be mindful of that with the Aries energy. So the new beginnings at first is going to, bring transformation in your space. The wisdom is bringing transformation, and it does, right? The things that you used to like, you don't like no more. The things that were cool, they're not cool no more. Now we're moving forward, right? And then when we come into, the 9th house, now we're sharing the knowledge. Like I remember when I went through the same thing I do with y'all every week, every day almost, with the astrological updates. I come here and I be like, oh yeah, I had this experience and it gave me this wisdom and da 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 da, this, that, and third. That's what that 9th house does. It expands you to be able to share that. Given those new beginnings and being able to share that with other people, it's important. Just like I keep telling y'all, you might want to shy away from the hardships in your life. It's very easy to want to do that, but should you be doing that? No, you should not be doing that. Your hardships in your life are essential for you to go through because it's not just about you. It's bigger than you. Those people have to put you through that so that they can experience the karmic stuff they need to experience. You got to let them have their karmic stuff and trust that it's going to happen the way it's supposed to happen. There's some stuff going on in their chart to where they need to be your aggressor. There's other people that need to view this. It's people that need to hear your story. It's people that need to empathize with you and be your support. You think it's okay where like every time, and again, this is something I experienced because every time I'm going through something, I disappear. This is the first time in my life I went through something and I didn't disappear. And that's because the universe didn't give me a choice. I couldn't disappear. I actually needed support. There was no way I was going to go through, what I just went through with my health without support. I couldn't disappear. Life was not going to give me, it's not an option. So what are you going to do? I'm going to learn how to ask for help. I'm going to learn how to be patient when people give me the help that they can give me. I'm going to learn how to be appreciative and move in gratitude. I'm going to learn how to give myself grace and learn how to sit still. Stuff like that. When you're going through stuff, especially if you're at a certain level and there are people watching you and you think it's okay to disappear, yeah, it's okay to go back into self and have some self time. That's very important. Don't think I'm not taking away from that. Balance in all things, discernment in all things. And y'all know I speak on that all the time. We always want discernment. We always want balance. At the same token, that's very selfish of you to go through things by yourself. There's certain people in your space that's supposed to be there to support you. There's certain people in your space that's supposed to be there to witness your story and witness you going through what you're going through and see how you triumph over it and say, oh, that is so inspiring. I want to, that's inspiring to me. And then, like, I say that because, like, all right, what was it, like a year ago, I shared my story on my website. And, I was afraid of a lot of responses, and I got a lot of the responses that I was afraid of. And it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But you know what really happened? The amount of people that came to me and told me that they were sexually abused as well, or they were physically abused as well, or they too were going through these different phases and stuff in their life, and they really appreciated me sharing that. And to see what I'm capable of doing now versus what I went through is wild to them. I had to tell that story for certain people that have a different mindset on their own story. You know what I'm saying? When you join majority of these business coaches, the first thing they're going to say is tell them about yourself. Tell your story. Show people how human you are. Show people your spiritual journey, your human experience. It's important, and it's something that people need to hear. You have no idea, especially for those of you guys who out there who are entrepreneurs and forex traders and all this stuff. And you may not think about it all the time, but you probably only take pictures when things are going well. You probably only make videos when things are going well. I even stopped editing my astrological reports because I want y'all to see the fuck up. I want y'all to see, granted, I still edit it sometimes because when it sounds like it's trash, it sounds like it's trash. But like, certain parts where I giggle off something or I mix up a word and I correct, I'm not editing that anymore because you're going to hear my human experience. You're going to hear me get tongue tied. You're going to hear me say the wrong thing, apologize, and backtrack. Why would I come out in perfection? Who am I being perfect for? Because I know I'm not. Am I showing? Why would I show that to y'all? So then when y'all see me in a different light, it's like, what? No. I've been authentic this entire time. This is not perfection. It's a process. Everything is a process. You're taking away the reality of the process from people when you only show what's good. Like, I even had this dialogue with somebody because I follow a lot of homesteading Instagram pages. And this woman, I finally saw a video where a woman was very, very transparent about the process of homesteading. Because usually I only see the finished product. I only see the bus when it's finished. I only see the van when it's finished. I only see the homesteading farm when it's finished. And they're like, oh yeah, I spent $500,000. I'm like, where the fuck did you get $5,000? But nobody said it took me 10 years to get that $5,000. Nobody says, oh, I got it from here this one year, and then I had to go without this 1 year, and I was dealing with this year, and I over here I was taking baths out of water bottles just waiting for this water situation. Like, nobody's was saying that, and I had to give her flowers because nobody else is saying that. Nobody else is showing how they would go days without a bath until they got the water situation together. And like, I know in our heads and our indoctrination, but if you have something you want, you got to be willing to sacrifice. And the fact that people are not documenting their sacrifices and their moments going without, and they're only showing you when it's good and when it's there and stuff, that's an issue. That's an issue. It's bringing that false reality. It's not bringing that wisdom and stuff like that. So if you're on this space and you are providing that type of intelligence, you are providing that kind of wisdom and stuff like that, be transparent. Show all of that. Show all the steps involved. It's important. It's important to show all the steps involved. It's important to show the sacrifices and the downtime and the hardships, and then, the subconscious space is in there telling you, in your feminine side of your sacral chakra, which we're dealing with Mayat now, we're dealing with universal law, justice, and truth, and we're dealing with the celestial government. We have the subconscious there in its home space, and it's been there since like 2012, which is beautiful. And we know 2012 was a big year too. That was the second, election on a bigger level. 2012, around that time, just a lot of different transformations happened during that second. Was it 2012 was Trump because Obama only did one term, didn't he? Or he did two? I don't know. I'm tired. I want to say he did one. But then when 2012 happened, we had, that big jump, and it was time to step into your subconscious, subconscious be your guide and telling you certain things and just aligning you with certain things. And this feels good and that doesn't feel good. And we want to go here and we want to express. And it's also a big jump in the art. Now we get into the Vedic chart, Jupiter is also in that Piscean energy, all right? So even the wisdom is coming from the subconscious, you know? And then we got Saturn there also giving us the discipline and order. So, you're getting your lessons from your subconscious this season. You're getting your experiences. Well, we got our experiences with the sun. I know a few weeks, like last week, the sun was in the Pisces zodiac and in the Pisces constellation at the same time. So with it being in both those spaces at the same time, there should have been a surge in your subconscious, whether it was your dreams, your journaling, your ability to channel your inner space, your inner spirituality, all that stuff, you know. But as yesterday we had the sun enter the Aries zodiac. So now we have the sun and our experiences in our mind and new beginnings. We're ready for new beginnings. We want new beginnings. We're thinking about them. We're manifesting them in our mind. King of Wands, being empowered of our new beginnings, being in charge of our new beginnings, really working towards them. The energy is coming. Then in our emotional self, we're still in that Pisces 8th house. So while our mind is on a new beginnings, our heart is still in that subconscious energy. A lot of you guys need to stop creating from a hurt place, cleanse that part of your subconscious. Some of our subconscious are coming from a hurt place. Remember the story I told you where there was a period of time where my subconscious stopped trusting me and I stopped trusting my subconscious because I was submerged into the indoctrinated world. And in the indoctrinated world, there was no room for my subconscious. There was no room for it. I couldn't be who I was supposed to be there. I had to be, this person or that person. What you need? You hungry? The pizza's over there. And then coming into the Five of Swords too. We're in reverse Five of Swords, coming into humanity. And some of you guys are moving from wounds of people. That's another story. I make jokes about me not really liking humans because I see myself as a spiritual being having human experience. And I feel like a lot of these humans down here are NPCs. And so a lot of the wounds that I've experienced from those humans or those indoctrinated humans, they put a wound in my heart. I'm here to tell you, you can't treat the people you're trying to attract the same way you treated the people that traumatized you. If you're going into these spiritual circles with the same mindset and the same energy as you did with those people that traumatized, and then it's crazy because some of us don't even give that energy to the people that traumatize us. You go back to the people that they don't even know they traumatize you. You're not having that dialogue with them. You're not cutting them off. You're still coming around them, smiling, being fake and phony, knowing damn well you have no business being around them people. You should have been put up some boundaries to them people, this, that, and the third, but you're not doing that. So you're still over there traumatizing yourself in those relationships. Meanwhile, someone that's of higher vibration comes into your space and you're like, no, because people hurt me and I remember this happened and da-da. Well, why are you not giving that energy to the people that traumatized you? You got to stop coming from this hurt place. And another example, especially for those who date, that's an experience that I've had, in my dating realm. I can't treat the people that I'm trying to date now the same way as, I should have been treating the person that hurt me. This is not an opportunity for me to show the world that I know how to do what I should have did. That's not that opportunity. It's growth. It's time for growth. It's time for expansion. It's time for gratitude that you are capable. Please stop. Please. Miles, don't do that. It's time to show that expansion. And then, we started the week off with the moon there too. So intuition vibes there. And our experiences is fortune. Our experiences, once we align our internal selves, in our sacral chakra and allow, that discipline in order to, occur and stuff, is the fortune, is the pinnacles that come from that, is the generosity that comes from that. That's what we're going to be experiencing. We're going to be experiencing a lot in our 5th house. So your inner child is definitely getting affected by it. Your dramatic self is definitely getting affected by it. Scooby, dog in a trash can. And then we get into the solar plexus chakra. The solar plexus chakra, this is your willpower, your self-expression, your courage and confidence, all that fun stuff. And this space is sitting in, this is Ogun energy that rules over this, Mars. And right now it's in that communication energy of Gemini. And then by the time April 2nd comes around, I want to say that Mars enters, We'll talk about it in a moment, but I want to say it's like April, maybe March 31st or something. That's when Mars is going to enter Cancer energy. But we start with that community energy, community, communication, learning how to have balance. A lot of our solar plexus chakras, we want to be in charge everywhere. We want to be in charge at home. We want to be in charge of 5, 6 different businesses. We want to be in charge of 5, 6 different strawman accounts. We want to be in charge everywhere. But you're straining yourself thin doing that. It's more important to be an expert in one thing than be spread out amongst a bunch of stuff. Pick a team, pick a spot. Is that to say that you shouldn't know stuff about other stuff? That stuff is going to come naturally. Like with me having a focal point in astrology, it's only right that I started to learn about biology, human biology, because as above, so is below and within. It's only right that I started getting in alignment with crystals because same concept. It's only right that I got in alignment with herbs. It automatically comes. It's not me like, oh, I'm gonna. Well, actually, initially it was because my natal chart Mars is in Gemini. I had to learn how to rise above this cosmos, and I'm still practicing because I really despise sitting still. But now I'm in a space where I don't have a choice again. But like, you don't want to be in a space where it's like, oh, I gotta study this, then I gotta study that. Da, 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 da. Learn how to delegate. Learn how to come to someone and say, hey, I need you to teach me, or hey, you want to be my coach in this, and hey, I'm going to take this class and that, and da, da, da. You got to get off your high horse a little bit, and that's what that Gemini energy calls. Get off that high horse a little bit, come down, because that's a level of fickleness and indecisiveness. If we give it, the honest truth about it, you're fickle and you're indecisive, and you don't feel as powerful as you think you are. So you're overcompensating by knowing about a little bit about everything. So when you're in conversation, you can say, "Oh, I know about that. Oh, I could say something about that. Oh," and you don't even let the other person finish because you know every fucking thing. And that's the energy with Mars and Gemini that we're trying to provide transformation to. And this is sitting in the 11th house. The 11th house is the energy of your humanitarian pursuits. This is what you're supposed to be doing in this realm. So this has a lot to do with people coming into these spaces of like these spiritual spaces, or like social room spaces, how they're coming into these spaces, different events and stuff like that with that energy. Like maybe I had like having a podcast is a good example, and we're talking about something. You keep cutting the other person off because you want to be debatable. You want to be the smartest person on the podcast. You got to check your intentions. Am I really communicating right now to inform, or am I communicating right now because I want to be seen as the most important person in the room right now, or this, that, and the third? Check your intentions. Check your intentions, because it does affect how you communicate. It does affect the energy that you give off, and when you move like that, it more so shows a sign of weakness in self. You think you're so weak in self that you have to do all of this to overcompensate, and you don't. So that's what rising above that Gemini energy really does. And I highly suggest doing it because, we're going to enter Gemini season eventually after we get out of the stubborn vibe of Taurus soon. But we are going to enter that energy, and it's going to be in our experiences. So if you get in an alignment now with your Mars, it'll make your experiences come Gemini season be a little bit more, obtainable. You won't get overwhelmed because there's a lot of social media influencers. There's a lot of like YouTubers that, they're marketing. They're marketing. I was just talking to my bonus baby about this recently because she was telling me how she felt, about certain things. And I was like, you got to understand, baby, these people that work in health and fitness, just like these people that work in health and beauty, they have to have a marketing strategy because a lot of their products that they have are not necessary. And they know that. And they know the average individual, they need to know that they need something to have it. And the best way to show someone they need something is to show that they have a lack without it. You lack friends. You lack a social life. You lack self-esteem. You lack confidence without my product. But once you have my product, woof, it's fulfilling that solar plexus chakra. You know what I'm saying? Got to come out of that. Coming out of that. And so we're gonna put some solar plexus chakra. Oh, also what I like about the solar plexus chakra, I love the 5 of Cups, especially coming into the humanitarian space with our emotions here. allowing humanity, you see the goddess holding up the cups above, but allowing humanity to fill up them cups. That's the 11th house energy, the social events. Coming into those spaces, being able to rise above that Gemini energy and say, hey, you know what? I can be in balance with this Gemini energy instead of being overstimulated or understimulated. You know what I mean? I can come into here and really utilize my community, my neighbors, my siblings, my parents, and allow us to build that strength. Like I was talking about earlier, like finding your tribe and aligning and really like stabilizing that root chakra and stuff like that. But that comes first. You gotta deal with self. First, you gotta deal with self, definitely. Also, science fiction stuff, astronomy, and social justice is in play with this too. So the pulling the 5 of Cups is important because social justice is coming into play, and it's going to get more and more important as time goes on. Coming into the feminine side of your solar plexus chakra, we're coming into more swords. This season is all about fixing a lot of those wounds, a lot of those challenges that we keep labeling as traumas, and overcoming them, and learning how to travel with them, and learning how to direct them, because a lot of us have been misdirecting them. But a lot of that will come from taking that Chiron placement that you see at the top. Chiron is all about how you turn your wounds into a superpower. Find that in your chart. You'll be able to come more at peace with your wounds and find and realize, you know what, this stuff didn't happen to me. Like I was telling y'all before, some people have to be your aggressor. Some people have to traumatize you because they have to have that experience for whatever it is that's coming for them. It's not always, universe doesn't know good or bad. Universe doesn't know all these binary things that we know. It's fluid. It's just frequencies. It's energies. Yes, it's a spectrum. It's a spectrum. It's from here to here. It's from red to white. Violet. It's a spectrum of density, of wavelength. It's not really like, oh, this is good, that's bad, and the good and bad have different wavelengths. I mean, you can get into the numerology sounds of those or whatever, and come from that standpoint, and you might see something that be like, oh, okay, maybe it's not as cut and dry as we like to convince ourselves it is, because we have this language that kind of really boxes things in. Aries is also another space over here tapping into the divine feminine. Aries has been in Aries since 1925. 1925 was around the space where we had women's suffrage and that divine feminine energy coming forth. We had the feminism. Despite how we now know about feminism and different agendas, there's multiple agendas. There were multiple different factions that benefited from feminism for their own personal gain. There were different intentions evolving around that feminine energy. However, you still have feminine energy on the rise, still, doing the equality thing and all that fun stuff, fighting to stay in the workforce and stuff was what they were doing. Once the war ended and they were forced to work, while their husbands were at war. And then when the husbands came home, the women were like, we don't want to go back home. We want to stay in the workforce. We were having fun. And so that's what happened, that equal rights thing. We need to work here. But then it was also like, oh, since the men own the warehouses and stuff, it was like, oh, well, we're not going to give you proper living, proper working conditions and stuff. So then they had to fight for that. Then they're fighting for pay, and we're still fighting for pay. And, just all the different things in between. But it's a lot of energy going towards like giving women their crowns, and then bringing back the mindset that Aboriginal woman is the closest woman to God. Is the closest being on the space to God because of that divine feminine energy. And right now we have like a little shifty shift, because some people are misinterpreting that energy and saying, oh, well, feminine energy is the closest thing to God, then now I'm gonna be a woman. No, tap into your feminine energy as a man. You don't have to do that. And that's just, again, some gatekeeping that has to occur. And y'all can tap into the last episode of Season 7 podcast for that one, because we went in. And then also letting you know that Chiron and Aries are both in Pisces energy on the Vedic chart. So as far as emotions go, your emotions, it's really time to have, conversations with your subconscious. It's really time to journal, meditate. If you're failing to do those things, if you're failing to have spiritual people in your space that give you those downloads, that randomly call you and give you that message, I know I do that. I'm coming out of my shell with that. Again, coming into a space where it's like I'm trying not to treat the people around me now as the people that kind of traumatized me. When I first started my business, people made me feel like I was bothering them with my marketing, and they didn't want to be bothered and get out of my inbox. Some people would do subliminals because they weren't, strong enough to tell me to my face, or tell me, in messages to leave them alone. So they would turn around and do a whole subliminal, and I know you're talking about me. But and that did something to me. And now it makes me feel like when I'm marketing my stuff, I'm bothering people. But if I don't market my stuff, I don't get to the spaces I want to be with what I have. So I had to make a decision. Am I still gonna move? Because I don't even have those Facebook and Instagram pages no more. Those people aren't even in my algorithms anymore. I don't know. Like, I don't even know what the fuck they're doing for me to even still have that mentality. These are all new people now. If I get greeted with that kind of energy again, I should be so good that it won't bother me as much because I experienced that already, and I'm still here. You know what I mean? I didn't throw my business away. I'm still here with my business. So next time I feel that energy, it's not going to affect me as much. You know what I'm saying? So, when I send y'all them updates, I really be in my head like, I hope I'm not bothering y'all, because I really do these every day. And, they're horoscopes, and you can watch them whenever you want. You don't have to watch them on the day they happen. I like to watch them. I like to watch them at night. I rewatch them at night, and I'll be like, oh, snap, sis, you was in alignment today. Look at you, boo. And that's when I pay attention to them. Sometimes I'll wait to the end of the week and I'll go over them and I'll listen to them. They're only 3 to 5 minute videos. They're not like this. That's why I only do this once a week. Also, Jupiter, bringing that wisdom energy, Vesta, letting you know what your passions are, and Mercury is your decision making mind, your decision making skills. Mercury just entered Aries energy on March 19th. And I was at a good number too. That was at 12:23 p.m. So you got that 1, 2, 2, 3 energy, which is a vibe. So your decision making skills, again, I think it's just a lot of energy because I guess we're gonna pull sword cards all night. I guess that was just like a lot of energy coming out of stop coming from a hurt place. No more hurt places. And it's causing an instability in our creation space with that reverse for a wand. We want to stop. We want to stop trying to create in hurt places. We want to stop creating from hurt places. Allow yourself to heal. That's what a lot of this energy is saying. Allow yourself to heal. Because a lot of you guys are letting your traumas affect your solar plexus chakra. Your confidence is trash. Your courage is trash. You're always talking about what you can't do. Oh, we can't do this. They're going to kill us. We can't do that. They're going to do this. We can't do that. So their willpower is bigger than yours. That's wild. Because they look pretty human to me. I don't think that, if you really stepped into your courage and stuff and you gave yourself the same flexibilities as other spaces and places, like you're literally your ancestors. And if you read the stories of your ancestors, which are stories of yourself, and you don't feel inspired and you still feel scared and your tail is between your legs, like, you got to understand, you don't die, you multiply, your energy is recycled. So like there's a sense of empowerment that comes with that. And like I told y'all today in today's download, study the energy of Oya and Ogun and Shango, because those are the energies inside of you. Those energies had to go through transformation. They did have weak solar plexus chakras initially. They was chilling, living life. But then something crazy happened. Like with I want to say with Ogun, he was a metal worker, like a blacksmith or whatever. And what happened was, when the colonists came and enslavement started, he started creating the weapons for the Aboriginals. Like, we're gonna fight back against these people. And then he had to undergo an entire transformation of self and come into his empowerment, because he was kind of like a, laid back, kind of shy, whatever. He had to turn into a warrior himself. And that's where you get that Aries warrior Ogun energy. That's where you get that transformation. The fire had to rise. He had to have a new beginning to be a warrior during, the process of them trying to enslave us. Like, he had to fight for his. And I see a Ogun in a lot of our people now. That energy just multiplied into more souls. And you got to use it, because we're literally the energy. We were there before and we're here now. And if you don't believe in that, you're in a world of hurt. You're in your own way. You got to get out of your own way. In a nutshell, get out of your own way with the lack of courage and stuff like that. As far as our heart chakra goes, this is the Oshun energy, and now we're coming into Venus actually entered Taurus. When did Venus enter Taurus? On March 16th at 6:33. Again, more good numbers, 6-6. two creations, creation with the celestial government. So Venus entering Taurus is kind of Venus entering its home space at that. And then later on this week, Venus will be entering Pleiades energy. So it'll be coming into that, assisting you with the wounds, because Pleiades, that little star cluster, it's so cute too. Especially when you look up in the sky, for my sky watchers out there, when you look up in the sky, you see like the little messier objects. It's really cool. But yeah, Venus is in its home space and is really bringing like that fixated energy, definitely. The love of beauty, forgiveness. Forgiveness is a main thing, especially because I keep pulling sword cards tonight and stuff like that. But you want to learn how to forgive. You want to learn how to move on, and not just of other people, places, and things and experiences. You got to learn how to forgive yourself. You're not giving yourself any type of power or responsibility or accountability. It's always they. That's all I hear is they did this to me and they did that, and the white man got this and the government got that and the employers got this and my landlord has that. Like, where's your power though? You're talking about a whole bunch of other people that bleed the same way you bleed, that have the same energy you have, that can do the same things you can do. Like, and you could probably do things they can't do, just like they could do things like you haven't tried to do. So they'll tell themselves they can't do it. You know what I'm saying? But if you stop telling yourself you can't, and if they stop telling themselves they can't, then it's gonna get done. It's a level of accountability, and forgive yourself once you come to the realization of accountability. Because if you don't forgive yourself, it's going to be definitely difficult to get out of your way. Because you're going to be like, nah. Because remember the last time you did that shit. Remember the last time you was doing this and doing that. Like, it's a distrust there within yourself to try again. You don't want to keep doing that. It's going to be really difficult to manifest. Taurian energy is the energy of materialization and manifesting, and they were coming into the ninth house with it, so it's in a space of expansion. All right. In the feminine side, we have Uranus, which is the progressive energy, teaching you how to go a new way about it. Uranus has been over here since March 15, 2019, and that's when COVID first started. Ain't that when the pentacles changed? We started getting the checks for business owners. We started getting unemployment checks. Over like hundreds of cryptocurrencies were coming out. Even countries were trying to have they were trying to do away with physical currency and just take over the certain cryptocurrencies to make them their country's dollar or their country's money. Cryptocurrency started infiltrating the forex platform for my forex traders out there. Like, all this started happening and materializing since Uranus entered Taurus energy. So it is going to stay in that energy until 2026, right? Yeah, April 2026. So we got a couple more years of this energy. We got like about 3 more years of this energy of just like innovating those pinnacles, innovating your heart chakra, how you feel about things, how you forgive yourself, how you forgive other people, how you love your self-esteem. What makes your esteem of self increase? What makes it decrease? Have those conversations. Where's your compassion at? Are you not compassionate? Are you too compassionate? All that fun stuff. The true note is also here. The true note is definitely the pathway, the destiny through your heart. We got to fix the heart chakra. It has to be finely tuned because, like I said, y'all got it spilling everywhere. Everywhere is about your feeling. I don't feel this. I don't feel like I should be disciplined. I don't feel like I should have order. I don't feel like I should be in my subconscious. I don't feel it. Like, it's running rampant everywhere because it's being ignored in the area it's supposed to be heard. It's like, you're not listening to me here, so I'm going to try to be there. I just pulled out a 4 of Pentacles. A little selfish energy, keeping things to yourself, keeping what you build and what you create to yourself, that manifestation to yourself. And a lot of that comes from still building in a hurt place. You're manifesting from a hurt place. When you manifest from a hurt place, it's like, no, this is my place. Because I remember last time somebody took this from me and I had to share it and I didn't like the way they treated it. You're talking about shit that doesn't exist no more. That happened. The only thing you have in this moment is presence. The present. That happened. You got to learn how to forgive and move on since the heart chakra, okay? The 10th house is here. The 10th house is a space of success. So, moving into that space is definitely going to bring you to this successful space. Again, I got the reverse King of Pentacles, still coming from a hurt place. Again, and this is in alignment with the earth sign, because Pentacle is, earth. Pentacles are Taurus energy. Still coming from a hurtful place, a selfish place, and a lone place. Being ignored in the area that's supposed to be here. Yep. Definitely. You want to stop ignoring that heart chakra. It's getting difficult. It's going to be difficult for you to tap into this Venus and Taurus if you're still coming from a hurtful place, if you're still utilizing information that is no longer valid or reality. You can't keep saying when I was 5 years old, that happened, so now this is this. Like, that can't keep being a reason. Now, if you want to renew the reason and say, well, I am 30 something years old now and I just believe that this should be this way, then say that. But we're not going to keep talking about 5-year-old self. Where 5-year-old self exists, you're just showing me how unhealed your 5-year-old self still is. That's basically what you've been saying to me. Like, your 5-year-old self still ain't healed from that yet. Like, your 5-year-old self summoned you, and you still ain't help your 5-year-old self heal. You're still utilizing their excuses for you not to do things. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that. Juno is also in this space. Juno is the energy of like your bonds and your relationships and stuff like that. A lot of those are going to be on the forefront. Some new bonds that you attract, some old bonds that you had. You gotta learn how to forgive. You gotta learn how to show compassion and empathy and say, hey, I understand you went through some shit and that's why you had to do what you did. And even though I don't like what the fuck you did, I get it. That had to happen. And honestly, if I keep it 1,000, my thoughts, I might not have did what you did, but I probably would have thought about it. Or I probably would have felt like this, or I probably would have come to whatever conclusions, have whatever kind of conversation you need to have. Just know you need to have them. Juno entered Taurus on March 11th around 12:20 p.m. too. That little fun fact. And then Venus is also in Taurus. We talked about that already. And then all of these energies are in new beginning energies in the Vedic chart. So when we tap into this Oshun energy, which is the sensual forces and the celestial workers, and we're allowing the celestial workers to design and provide image over in our emotional self, it's empowering us. It's giving us our confidence back, you know? And then on the outside, our experiences of our heart chakra, we have Aries. Aries is agriculture energy. This is the energy that is nurturing. What do you provide as a nurturer, and what do you need to feel nurtured? That's what Aries says. And it's not just you as a person, it's also plants, it's also animals, it's also the environment, it's the government to person relationship, it's the business to business relationship, it's person to currency. What needs to be here? What is missing here? What kind of ways you want to be nurtured, and what kind of ways are you nurturing this for it to grow? You can also talk about literal agriculture. Are you going outside and toiling the soil right now? Are you going to go outside and try to just jam seeds in the dirt and not pay attention to like what seeds are growing near what? How you nurture that soil is going to determine how the seeds grow. So if you keep nurturing, if you keep ignoring the soil and just jamming seeds down there, and then, things start happening to the roots, and the roots are weak. So now some of the branches are weak, and you can't get mad at nobody but yourself because you did that. You did that. You're not listening. You're not allowing that progressive energy to happen. You're not paying attention to your bonds. You're not moving in that forgiveness space. You're not doing any of that. And we want to stop that. We want to change that. We want to, Queen of Wands. It's a manipulative energy happening here. Yeah, you want to keep moving from a nasty space. You're going to keep moving from a nasty space. Nasty stuff happens to you, okay? Reverse 3 of Cups. That means that the bonds are not going to happen. The 3 is the number of creation. Then we got the emotional self. And if you look at the card, it's 3 people and they're happy and they're holding their cups. But because this is in reverse, it's not happening yet. And it's not happening yet because of these 3 other cards. We're moving maliciously. We're moving selfishly. We're moving manipulatively. Or you're still living in a space where you're only giving attention to these energies. If you're only giving attention to the dollar, if you're only giving attention to the government, your boss, the courtroom, the tickets, the police, the people in the neighborhood that are fucking it up, these are the energies you only giving your energy to. How are you going to get your emotions right? You all stuck in gloom and doom. You know what that's the recipe for? Learned helplessness, depression. You're always telling yourself how you can't do it because you're always looking at the ways that it cannot be done. Don't do that. You're doing yourself such a disservice. Nobody, if you really tap into your energy and allow yourself to say, yes, I can, can't nobody do anything that you can't do. You can't, there's people out here doing stuff that you're telling yourself you can't do. And they piss out of the same hole you piss out of. They have the same physical, mental, and emotional capabilities as you do. The difference is they tap into theirs. And you still making excuses not to utilize yours. That's the difference. That's the only difference. You literally told yourself you couldn't do it. You got in your way. And so now you over here being jealous and upset and paying and making a bunch of excuses. Well, my baby, I don't know why baby mom just came in my head, but my baby mom this and my baby dad that, and I can't do this for this and I can't do that for that. And what about this person? And what about those is excuses. Those are excuses. Is some stuff gonna hurt? Yes. Is some stuff gonna have to be like, oh yes. That's why this energy is not only in Taurus, but it's also in Aries on the Vedic chart. It's new beginnings. But what happens with new beginnings? Death has to occur. Death has to occur. You have to let things go. And then also to remind you that Aries is in alignment on the tropical in the Vedic chart. So you're still pulling in on that Libra energy, the balancing, the scales, the energy of Maya, Oba. We're bringing in that air energy on both sides, and we're applying it to the second house, which is our pinnacles and our love. Coming into the throat chakra, I think I'm breaking it now. This is ruled by a shoe. This is our communication and our expression, our integrity, our moral self, how we notice patterns, our decision making. Yes, death has to occur. Yep, death definitely has to occur. We have to let it happen and stop being afraid. Mercury is in the energy of new beginnings right now, y'all. The communication, the integrity. Remember what I talked about with the root chakra? Everybody want to be lawless. Everybody want to, we're not supposed to have gatekeepers. We're not supposed to have discipline. You can't tell me what to do. I do what I want. You want to sit up here. I've seen many spiritualists not only have an Orisha that was a gatekeeper as their social media handle, they post constantly about these different Orishas that were gatekeepers that did not let everybody in and everything in. It wasn't allowed. They are constantly posting about historic cultures and villages and tribes that had gatekeeping, that had discipline and order. And then we'll turn around and post a video. And then when the gatekeepers come to correct them, saying, hey, why'd you put this kind of video up there? You're not that kind of person. That was low vibrational of you. We understand that sometimes we regress. Life is an up and down line. You're not always going to be straight. But that's why you attracted the souls you attracted. You attracted the souls to tell you, hey, delete that. That wasn't cool. That's not in alignment. Why are you addressing that over there? That's not cool. Now, why would you ask the universe to bring you your village if you're not letting your village raise you? When we use the word raise, they're supposed to be raising your vibration. You're not letting your village raise you. You're always like, come on now, you can't do that. You can't do that. You got to pick a side. You want to be lawless and undisciplined, or you want to have that village and have those people that want to check you. Yes, we need the gatekeepers and we need the watchers. They're important. They're very important. Those are the people that we study. Everybody that we study, that we use as an example. You want to talk about Marcus Garvey? Okay. You want to talk about Dr. Sebi? Okay. We want to talk about Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle was a fucking gatekeeper. That man was he was the gatekeeper on so many facets. And he was an entrepreneur. As an entrepreneur, you have to be a gatekeeper. Do you just say, any type of employee can work here? No, you don't. You gatekeep because this is your business. Everybody can't work with me because some people don't have the ethics that they need to have to be in my space. You don't gatekeep your energy. You just let anybody in because they look cool, because they got locks, because they play with crystals, because they know what the stars are called. No, you gatekeep your energy. Like, no, I still feel like you need to fine tune some frequencies in your space before you can sit at my table, bro. Or you got some stuff going on, give you some space, but if you're not going to take direction, or we could dialogue about it. It depends, discernment is key. I always talk about that discernment, balance. You got to know when to work on it and when to let it go. And that's what Mercury in the new beginnings is bringing too. Know when to work on something and know when to let something go. That's a big thing. Well, whenever we talk about these historic people we want to talk about, they were all gatekeepers. All the Black Panther individuals, the Sasa, Huey, all of them, they were gatekeepers. They were gatekeepers. Everybody was not allowed to be a Black Panther. Malcolm X. Everybody was not allowed to be on the podium with him. Martin Luther King Jr. Everybody was not allowed to walk with Martin. Nobody, you have to have gatekeepers. Maybe Malcolm X was not the gatekeeper, but he kept gatekeepers around him like, nah, don't get too close. Nah, bro, you can't get too close. He had them guards there. If you over here still bad mouthing gatekeepers, you're a part of the problem. It's because you want to infiltrate something you have no business infiltrating, and that's that nasty vibration in you that's getting irritated because it can't infiltrate something that it has no business infiltrating. This is not your frequency. Some people come here to destroy certain things, and they may not be able to verbally articulate that. It may be coming from an emotional place. Like, I want to be able to come over here and be half naked and twerk and wear my blonde 40 inches and say nigga this, nigga that, and talk about how I don't need a man, but still be in your community. There's some people that really believe that. And they don't realize that their frequency is literally built to try to break down certain boundaries, try to break down certain gatekeepers. They don't know that about themselves because they're out of alignment. They're out of alignment. It's just feelings everywhere. Over in the feminine side, we have Mars. Mars being your motivator, your assertive energy. You know, this is coming back to the space where I say you keep ignoring that energy inside of yourself if you want to. It's going to start screaming at you. It's going to start getting angry with you. You be mindful of that. And then again, I told you guys, you know, Mars eventually enters Cancer, and we'll talk about it. Also, Virgo is on your experiences. In your experiences, you got the second house, which is your pinnacles, your business, your emotional self. That's what's on the outside. That's what you're going to experience in your decision making. That's what you're going to experience in your patterns. And some people that's going to come back into your life. It's some people that's going to come back into your space. It's some situations and experiences that are going to return. And they might not return in identical form. They might look totally new. But it's the same shit. And it's to see if you're going to do something different. Are you going to do something different with these pinnacles? Are you going to do something different with these experiences and this level of forgiveness and stuff that needs to happen in these relationships and stuff like that? Are you going to do something different in how you feel on yourself, how you're treating yourself? Also, your midheaven is also in your experiences. So coming to, you know, your aspirations and learning and having those conversations with yourself about what is success to you? What does your successful self look like? What did your successful self used to look like versus what does it look like now? What have you changed in what you see in successful self? Now, what have you changed in yourself today to reflect that change in what you see in a successful self? You got to have those kind of conversations with yourself. Coming into your third chakra, we got the reverse six of the reverse six of pentacles. We're coming into a space where we're like overwhelming with abundance, but we're being a little kind of spilling it out everywhere, being spendthrifty, overdoing it, overgiving, overthinking, over. So we're like we're overstimulated in this area. We're overstimulated. So somebody in this space that's listening right now, I want you to come back into a balance. You're overthinking, you're overdoing it a little bit. You probably not giving yourself space to rest and stuff, being spendthrift with your energy, being spendthrift with your decision making and things like that. And that's bringing a sense of fickleness. It's bringing a sense of indecisiveness. You want to be mindful of that. Also, a three of wands in reverse. Ooh, we're still coming from hurtful places. I need y'all to stop coming from hurtful places. All right. It's going to be difficult for you to create if you're still coming from hurt and pain. If you're still coming from a traumatic space, you got to stop looking at certain events as trauma and start looking at it as challenges. I know Saturn is the planet of challenge, not trauma. There's no planet of trauma. There's a planet of challenge that forces you to learn discipline, that forces you to learn boundaries, that forces you to learn how infrastructures work, how hierarchy works. I was just talking to my son about this earlier because I was like, I grew up in the projects. You had to learn how to roller skate. You had to learn how to play basketball. You know, my survival skills was I knew how to rap. I knew how to do your homework. I knew how to do graffiti. I could do graffiti on your sneakers, your jackets, your shirts, all that. And I learned how to play basketball. And now as an adult, I don't like to play basketball because that was a very heavy thing. Like if you were bad at basketball, you were going to get bullied. If you couldn't roller skate or ride on a bike or something, because we did everything on roller skates and riding bikes in the project, you was going to get bullied or you was going to sit on the side and watch everybody else play. And I wanted to survive out here. So I learned how to do all that stuff. So now when I'm around that kind of energy now as an adult, yeah, it's triggering to me. My inner child is like, I don't want to be around this no more. I survived this. I'm not going back. But yeah, like God, you can't be building from a hurtful place because there are times where I have to go. I want to go into these places and provide my energy awareness because I feel like those individuals are the ones that need it the most. So I have to learn how to combat that energy, and that's me being transparent with y'all. That's where I'm at in this journey. Learning how to be in those spaces again without feeling triggered, without feeling like I gotta prove myself, and I gotta prove shit. Planet challenge, not trauma. Yes, yes. So we want to stop trying to create, stop trying to make things from a place of trauma. We want to make it from a place of triumph. So, tell your story. Go back to the Chiron in your solar plexus. Tell that tell that story and say, hey, this happened to me. These things happened to me. These are my traumas. Now, the thing with Chiron is not about just releasing traumas and keeping them as traumas. It's about turning your traumas into a superpower. It's about taking those traumas and turning it into a strength, changing how you think about them, how you talk about them, how you experience another pattern that reflects, a little bit of energy of that. If you still like, an example, I had mean girlfriends. They were mean. Like, I would confide in them about different things and they would go and gossip to the next person and I would be like, how did you know that? And it's because this person said, or they would make up rumors and say I said this and I said that so that other people would want to fight me. And I always felt like I had to defend myself. So I was around mean girls when I was in middle school. I was combating that kind of energy. And that was up until adulthood. Virtually I carried those same friends all the way up until after college. And so still having them in my life. And so Saturn return was like, yeah, we finna get rid of all them hoes. But like now I have beautiful women in my life. Why would I approach these women and be like, you know what? I'm still traumatized from back then when I was pregnant with Miles and I didn't want to drink no more. Even after I had Miles, like I just didn't want to drink no more. I didn't want to smoke no more. So they used to make me feel bad, like make little jokes and stuff. And then I was with the person I was with at the time, and they were doing little shifty stuff behind my back, and people knew things I didn't know about the person I was dating, and it was just like a lot of drama, a lot of drama. So, why would I approach these women with that same energy? Like, oh, nah, I'm not going to let y'all, I'm not going to do this. I'm creating the same kind of relationships I had before. That was the energy you were supposed to give them back then. That's not the energy you're supposed to be giving people now. You got to stop coming from a traumatic space. Stop creating from a traumatic space. Once you release that trauma, it's not trauma no more. Tap into that Chiron. It's a superpower now. This is what was that? Kanye West, he said, I got bipolar. It's a superpower. It's not a trauma. It's a fucking superpower. Look what I can do. Ooh, the chariot. Look what I can do. Look what I can do. You leading. You moving forward. You are the charioteer going down Uranus. And I love that because if you get into the astronomy part of that, I was about to just out. The comet that everybody's talking about 2022 E37 blah blah blah. That comet is going up the Uranus river in the sky, and that's in alignment with the charioteer. The charioteer's story was he took his father's chariot and he rode it up that river, and he was losing control of the chariot. So Jupiter came in and killed him, and then put him in stars. But the story, the moral of the story is he was courageous and he did that. He was courageous and he did that. And now we have a comet which holds all the ancient knowledge of our galaxy crossing that river, coming into the waters, right? Tap into the waters. Tap into the waters of life. Also, on a physical level, watch the water. A lot of stuff is being poured into our water right now, and it's intentional because in the cosmos, we do have that ancient knowledge coming into the water. We are water. So that means the ancient knowledge is coming into us. So what do? They pollute it. They're polluting the waters. As within, so is without. Pay attention. We're vibrations first. Once we start seeing things from a different standpoint, like different standpoints simultaneously, it makes things different, like interpretations different. And then we have so much energy in our subconscious and that Pisces energy right now, it's going to be really easy to do so. Another reverse 4 of Wands. Just lacking the stability in this space. And you want to come into a more stable space. You definitely want to come into a more stable space. When you tap into this Mars and Gemini, which we thoroughly went over when we talked about the solar plexus, On the outskirts of this is in our Virgo energy, we have that midheaven, which is your successful stuff and stuff like that. And it's in Leo on the Vedic chart, how you feel. So you feel like a leader in terms of your decision making skills and stuff like that. And that all is coming from you finally coming into a place of self awareness and self accountability. So work towards that because that's what Mars wants you to do. And then last, but always most certainly not least, we're coming into the third eye chakra. The third eye chakra is command beyond wisdom. All right. We have the sun, which is Heru. Um, we have the sun, which is Heru, and that's sitting in Pisces. However, it did enter Aries yesterday. So, the new beginnings and your experiences. I know a lot of us walk around talking about our sun sign. My sun sign is this. My sun sign. Your sun sign is your experiences. So, what's your sun sign? Y'all write in the comments what your sun sign is, and I'll tell you what your experiences are. Because that's what your sun sign is. It's your experiences. It's your masculine energy. How are you interacting with masculine energy? What is masculine energy? The outside of you, the extroverted energy, EX, everything EX. I'm a Virgo. That means that my experiences are in Virgo. My experiences are in order, in discipline, in servitude. And I do that a lot. I love volunteering. I love helping people. I love healing. I love plants. I talk to my plants, play music for my babies. I rub them down. I can't stand when I walk into a doctor's office, which has been like the only place I've really been walking into lately. And there's plants there and they're covered in dust. Every time I go to my physical therapist office, I'm rubbing on a new leaf, getting all the dust off. Like, hey, how you been? I'm here again. Like, that's me. That's my experience. My experience is Virgo. I am a Leo rising. Your rising is your temperament. That is your personality. That's who you are. that's who you think you are anyway, because we're talking about the tropical chart. The draconic chart is who your soul is. The tropical chart is just the mental tools, the psychological tools that you had on this plane that your soul chart is going through on this plane. And then the Vedic chart, which is the chart that a lot of our newbie astrologers are falling into. And just because you are alignment with the Vedic chart does not give any less, weight on the tropical chart. We created both of them. So the Vedic chart is your emotions, how you feel, how the tools that your feelings have for your soul to go through. All right. My feelings, I'm still a Virgo. My emotions are still a Virgo. If stuff is a mess, I get irritated. When I see lack of acts of service, I get irritated. All that stuff. It irritates me. That's why I was like, Virgo, why are you so irritated? Because people are very selfish. People lack the ability to think outside of themselves and what they want to do. Sometimes to do stuff for other people, you got to do stuff you don't want to do. Get them feelings out of all the chakras. The feelings are supposed to be in the heart chakra, not here, there, here, there, here, there. Like, I don't want my feelings to be making decisions for my discipline. Some days I wake up and I don't feel like going to physical therapy. Some days I wake up and I don't feel like working out. But I can't put my feelings in that because I want to walk like a regular person. I want to be able to bend my knee. I want to go hiking again. I want to do these things. So I can't let that feeling in that moment dictate what discipline and order I'm supposed to have in my day that day to create what I need to create. You can't do that. If I'm in a room and I feel small, trust and believe that's not going to touch my solar plexus chakra. You're never going to know I'm feeling small right now, bro. My smile going to be big as shit. I'm going to shake your hand. We're going to communicate, and I'm going to stay in my feelings are going to stay on the inside where they belong. Like that, my feelings ain't never going to touch the solar plexus chakra. That shit ain't never touch the sunshine. And that was one thing that people kept complimenting me on. Like when I was in the hospital, they were like, "Dang, like you're still doing your like." I did a planetary forecast when I was in the hospital bed. They were like, "Dang, you're like what?" I coordinated 2 events from the hospital bed. I had my jewelry sent to a fashion show from a hospital bed. Like, you don't get to touch my solar plexus chakra. I'm sad as shit right now. I never felt this before. Never in my life did I think this was going to happen to me. I feel depressed. Even in this moment, I'll be transparent with you. I'm depressed as fuck. I thought about going and playing in traffic, asking God, why'd you make me survive if you was going to let me keep going through shit? But you will never fucking know. Every day y'all see them astrological updates, I'm cheesing, I'm smiling. Every time y'all in my inbox asking me questions, y'all getting them answers. That shit ain't never gonna touch my solar plexus chakra. You hear me? Never. Because that's not where it belongs. You gotta learn how to have that discernment, that division. Where was I going with that? I don't even know how I even got there, but it had to come out, I guess. Anyway, coming back to Heru, we have it sitting in your subconscious. So your experiences that you experience right now are a reflection of your relationship with your subconscious, how you've been viewing your subconscious, how well you listen to your subconscious, and how well your subconscious is trusting you. And if you see a sense of discord there, then you gotta fix it. You gotta fix it. Coming into the moon, all set is sitting in that subconscious energy. At least we started the week off. We'll get into like the actual quick joins in a moment because this is the last energy we're doing. Palace is in that your motion energy. Palace is your genius qualities that you overlook. Palace is what are you good at? What are you good at? What are you great at? That you're ignoring. You don't want to hold this. Why you don't want to hold this? Because you're still moving from a hurt place. I'm still pulling sword cards on y'all. You're still coming from a hurt place here. So you're not allowing those genius qualities to be seen. You're not giving yourself space to do that. And that's not fair to you. So come back. And then in your Vedic chart, Palace is sitting in Gemini. So it's somebody in your community that told you, you know, an example I gave earlier the week, I was like, you remember how like you would draw something or create a piece of art and you thought this shit was hot, right? So maybe you go to an adult, any adult, your teacher, your parent, whatever, like, yeah, look at this. And they were so distracted. They didn't give you the same excitement. They didn't give you the same energy that you put into that piece. And that did something to you. Or maybe you told them a goal, like, oh, I want to be an astronaut. I want to do this. And they giggled at you and was like, nah, you can't do that. That's not real. That's not the. I'll be transparent with you. Mine was art, being an artist, being into art and stuff like that. I was in a lot of gifted and talented classes, and they always were doing those like career tests and stuff like that. So when mine would always come up artist or psychologist, that's what my personality test always came up as, artist, psychologist. So I'm in divine alignment, yay! But you know, I would get a lot of backlash being in those classrooms. Oh, you know, at that time, you know, in that day and age, psychology was not a big thing. People didn't really respect psychology. Psychologists were not making that much money. It was not a thing, okay? And artists, they had the starving artist mentality or the starving artist label. So it was like giggles, like, oh, that's not real. You can't really do that. That's not a good thing to pursue. Da, da, da. So yeah, for a period of time, that did something to me. I wanted to stick to what I wanted to do, but I didn't want to be unrealistic either. So I let that shit indoctrinate me and, you know, do things for a little bit of time. And so for a little bit of time, I was ignoring my genius qualities. I would have, you know, all these art projects that I wasn't releasing. I had all this knowledge that I was not sharing, you know, all that. It took time, and it still does take time. I still have a lot of things that I just don't share because I'm just like, oh, you know, it's a process. It's a process, but you got to give yourself grace. Give yourself grace and allow yourself to go through the process. Just because it's a process doesn't mean that it shouldn't be done or tried or whatever. You know, you chomp at it little by little, and then you look back in hindsight like, oh shit, I did that. And this is sitting in your 12th house. So this is, you know, in alignment. I mean, Palace is not sitting in your 12th house. Palace is actually sitting in your 11th house, which is your humanitarian pursuits. Now, the 12th house is also in your Cancer energy. So the 12th house is bringing you to a space of your subconscious and your hidden secrets and your dreams and your agendas and stuff like that. Ooh, a Knight of Pentacles. Standing on them genius qualities of Palace. Because, you know, Palace is a warrior. Palace was actually fighting with another goddess and accidentally stabbed her because she was really good at fighting. They were like place sword fighting, but she went too far. She went too far. She was a really good sword fighter. So like having this Knight of Pentacles here, you're going to manifest with that energy. And then, you know, you could fight it if you want to. Lilith is in Odumila, which is in the masculine side of your third eye chakra. So your experiences are going to lead you to places where you're going to meet people that trigger you. And a trigger is not always a negative thing. Trigger could be inspiring. Like you inspire me to do something different. You're inspiring me on a positive. You're making me really happy, or you're making me really angry. And a trigger is a trigger. It's whatever that gets you going, right? And these experiences are going to, make you tap into your genius qualities. Maybe it's somebody, I had somebody hit me up recently and was like, "Do you write books? Because mad stuff. Like you should just put it in a book." And then he gave me all these different websites that I could utilize. And that just did something to me. And this is why I didn't do the planetary forecast yesterday, because before, because his message was kind of long, and I was engaging in conversation in my physical realm, so I had to keep pausing it. So it was some resistance there at first for me to even get that message. But I was already in a space where I was just doing this heavy duty research because I just knew I wanted this episode, because this is the first episode of the year. I just knew I wanted this episode to be very intricate. I know that you guys might not sit this entire video with me, but I would love for you guys to come back and watch the parts of this video y'all missed. Because, after I go through all of this, I'm going to get into some astronomy stuff so y'all can learn a little bit and get a little taste about what the cosmic nobody's university is like. But I'm thinking, and I'm looking through all my papers, and I'm saying in my head, I do have like a textbook worth of astronomy, astrology knowledge. I have textbook worth of notes on things. Like I have textbooks around me, and I'm not giving them credit for what they are. And then I finally get through the resistance and listen to this man's voice message. And that was a trigger to me. That was a Lilith energy, like, I really spent my whole day doing this. And look, this is the confirmation. And I wrote down the websites and the apps he gave me, and I gave him a message back, giving thanks and telling him, I did write some books before. And I felt I wasn't in my solar plexus with that. I let my feelings infiltrate my solar plexus with those books, And I kind of was self-conscious about releasing them, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so they just weren't right for me to put them out the way they were and stuff like that. But coming in space, I was just really motivated yesterday. So, stuff like that can happen. All that to say, stuff like that. And it does affect your temperament, because we have the first house over there as well. And that's exciting. I love that. We pull a justice card. Pulling the justice card for this space. The energy of Mayat, bringing balance to your space, bringing justice to your space, because you deserve this. It's justice for you to come into yourself and listen to your subconscious. It's justice for you to really pay attention to your qualities and your traits and your talents instead of paying attention to everybody else's. We always paying attention to celebrity talents and their kids. Everybody's spending all day long talking about this little 9-year-old on TikTok. Oh, she's so talented, or she is not talented. What about your talents? Where are your talents at? I just don't have time because I work and I got kids. No. You so tapped into this 9-year-old and this 3-year-old and their celebrity mother and their celebrity fathers and their talents and their lack of talent or whatever. Where is your talent at? What do you do? Are you perfecting your talent? It's justice in that. It's justice in that. And when you tap into your talent, there will be justice. You will create justice with it, Justice for yourself, maybe justice for the inner children in you that got ignored the first time you came over here with your genius qualities. Justice for all those moments that you got looked over, all those moments that you have been labeling in your head as traumas or reasons why you shouldn't do something. It's justice for all of that. And you deserve that. You can't keep walking around acting like you don't deserve that. It's not fair to you. And how are you really pursuing your purpose and fulfilling things if you walking around like that? That's the last card I'm going to pull. Oh, a 2 of Swords. Balance demon. Balance demon on a tightrope with the traumas. On edge with the traumas. Be careful, y'all. Just get out that trauma space, y'all. So now we're going to go into the universe. The universe is ruled by the universe. The crown chakra is ruled by the universe or whatever. And this is located at the crown of your head. This is consciousness. So I'm going to pull a couple cards for our collective consciousness, because it's important. We got the upright Queen of Wands. This is what our collective consciousness wants for us. Remember earlier I pulled the reverse in the manipulative space, right? But coming into our consciousness, it's the strength energy, because you have the goddess with the lion. It's the sun energy with the sunflower. You have, the servitude energy with the goddess. You got the justice energy as she has the staff. There's a balance there with the bricks and the weight. You have the seahorse there for the emotions. And then, the emotional self even has an energy of strength on it as everything is yellow. So with solar plexus energy as well. So yeah, yeah. This is what the universe wants for us. This is where the universe wants to direct us. Regardless of what your natal chart is or what your, tropical, whatever, when ultimately at the end, whatever the details are to your journey, the universe wants you to fulfill them. If the universe didn't want you to fulfill them, you wouldn't have made it out the womb. You wouldn't have made it through all those traumas that you made it through. You wouldn't have made it through certain experiences. There's people getting shot in areas just because they were in the wrong area. The situations didn't even have nothing to do with them. We see that all the time. We hear about it all the time. And here you are sitting here not fulfilling your purpose, thinking that, there's energy moving against you. Ain't no energy. That was confirmation right there. There is no energy moving against you except for you in your way. In your way. The universe wants you to win. The universe wants you to fulfill your life path number. The universe wants you to rise above the tropical and the Vedic charts and the transit chart. Rise above all that shit. Your draconic chart should rise above all that shit and stay at peace and stay equilibrium. That's what the universe wants you. And then not only do we get the Queen of Wands, we get the King of Wands upright too. The masculine and the feminine energy of the universe are in alignment. They're both upright and they both want that for you. I love that. I love the fact that I even fucking pulled that shit. That's wild. Then we come to a reverse Seven of Pentacles. A reverse Seven of Pentacles coming from another hurtful place with the celestial vibes. This is what you're going, this is you getting in your way. This is your energy. This is not the universe energy. This is how you're behaving despite what the universe card just said. That's the King and Queen of Pentacles that's saying, hey, we want you to create. We want you to get those things going. But you still over here being sad and angry and hurt about manifestations. You're still moving from a traumatic space with your manifestations. And then there's a blue here. So that's saying that you have to tap back into your Mercury. Some of your patterns. If you don't have the pattern app, I say get the pattern app. Also, the Astro Matrix app is a really good app because it gets you in alignment with patterns too. Also, if you want to come to me for a numerology reading, I could show you what your patterns are. I could definitely show you what your patterns are. I can do that with your astrology chart too. It's just way more work. I'd rather do it in numbers, but I can do either one. But this is you. This is you in your way. This is you in your way, kicking and screaming through all the exercises. This is you still moving like a traumatic knight, even though Mama Universe and Father Universe said, hey, we got you. Now we're at the reverse Four of Pentacles where we're creating stability. Instead of being selfish, we're moving in abundance. All right. So heal those things. Heal the emotional trauma and the decision making. Heal the traumas you're still holding on to. You're still interpreting as trauma. Like this, you grow up. Grow up. You can't keep calling them traumas. You can't. They're not traumatic anymore. They happen. You're healing. Like, okay, give you example of my leg. Like, this is like a simplified example. The trauma was getting hit by a car. I got hit by a car. Am I getting hit by a car right now in this moment? No, I'm healing. My bones are healing. I can't keep saying I'm hit by a car. I'm hit by a car. I'm not hit by a car. I'm healing. I went and saw my x-rays today. They're coming together. The bones are coming together. I'm healing. I don't feel the same pain I felt when the car was on my leg. So I can't keep saying that. It just doesn't make sense to keep saying that. And that's a simplified, response. So yeah, it does sound silly to say that, but that's just how silly you sound. Is really equal as silly. But we've been, indoctrinated to live in a world of trauma, and hold on to your trauma, especially social media. Social media is really engineering some very weak ass spiritual people. Everybody wants to be in their soft girl era. And men want to be feminine with flowers in their hair and frolicking, especially the Aboriginal men. They're really softening both the men and women up because it'll make it easier. Like, you got the guilt now. Now we feel guilty about saying we want to gatekeep our culture. We get attacked by our own Aboriginal people about wanting to gatekeep our culture and our spiritual stuff. I'm in a lot of spiritual groups that are mixed, and I don't mind being in mixed spiritual groups, but I'm not about to sit here and share my culture in mixed groups because I am a gatekeeper of my culture. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not interested. I'm not going to do it. Now, if y'all want to share y'all culture in mixed groups, that's y'all business. I'm not doing it. So, you have these individuals in that space like, well, why can't I do voodoo? Why can't, those aren't your ancestors. That's not your energy. That's not what summoned you. That's not the energy you're recycled of. You're recycled of paganism and Judaism and Vikings and all that stuff. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that stuff. It's actually pretty fascinating, and I like it, and I like stuff like that too. But I'm not about to like go into that space and start channeling those ancestors. They're not my people. Like, that's weird. So you have this back and forth energy, back and forth energy, back and forth energy. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. That's the same way you gotta be about your own personal energy. I'm telling you, if you don't care enough about your own personal energy to gatekeep it and stuff, and everybody can have a piece, it's draining and it's stretching, and it leaves room for people to just come in and take and do whatever. That's not right. It's not fair. It's not fair to you. That's like you saying, oh, anybody can come into my business and work for my business. And because you're letting anybody in, you're not doing interviews. So you're not checking people's moral code, their ethical code. You're not even checking their education level. Some of you motherfuckers can't read or count money. So these people are coming in, stealing money out your register, giving people the wrong change, not stocking the stuff correctly because they don't know how to read blueprints and stuff like that. Like, all this stuff is happening to your business. Now your business is shit. Why? Because you weren't a gatekeeper. Everybody can get in because I want to be nice to everybody, and it's wrong. No, it's not. What? That makes no sense. Like, you have to know it makes no sense. So coming into what the planets are doing this week, let's talk about it. Again, I talked about the comet C 2022 E3 and it's going through the Iridianus River, but now we're starting to make it towards the Witch Head Nebula. All right. And that's exciting to get to this area. The Witch Head Nebula is coming. I think like all of our spiritual people are definitely going to start getting some aha moments from our ancient energy, because it's coming to the head of the witch, which is the energy of the wisdom, the wise, right? We got a lot of witches out here now. It's very exciting. Then all last week we dealt with a lot of musical planets, right? We had a lot of planetary shifts. We could start on a couple. We had Saturn entering the Pisces zodiac on March 7th. We had Neptune entering the Pisces constellation on March 14th. Mars entering the Gemini constellation on March 14th. The Sun entered Pisces constellation on March 15th. Mercury entered the Pisces constellation on March 16th. Venus entered the Taurus zodiac on March 16th. Mercury entered Aries zodiac on March 19th. Juno entered Taurus energy on March 11th. That was the zodiac. That's a tropical chart. Venus enters Aries constellation March 12th. Juno enters Aries constellation March 2nd. Mercury entered the Aquarius constellation. Now we're going back to February, and so we kind of went back too far. But last week was like a heavy week, and and then Saturn entered Pisces on March 7th. So we had a lot of planetary shifts. If you were tired, especially if you have Earth energies and any of these placements and in your natal chart, whether it's your tropical or your Vedic or even especially your draconic, you might have felt very tired and fatigued. I actually started my fasting. I felt like it was a good time to start my fasting because on my tropical chart, I'm a heavy earth energy. I'm a Virgo and Capricorn stellium. So it felt like a really good time to just like empty my body out and just let myself rest and reset while the planets are resting and resetting. But yeah, if you were tired during that time, it's okay. We do have two major shifts happening this week because Mars is a very aggressive. It's really dope because the shifts that are happening this week are in our solar plexus chakra. So you got Mars entering Cancer energy, which bringing you into a space of tapping into your subconscious on the masculine side of your solar plexus chakra. No, the feminine side of your solar plexus chakra. You know, the eternal self of your wisdom and your confidence. And then you have Pluto entering Aquarius energy. You know, Pluto is alignment with Oya, Scorpio energy. And that's on the masculine side of your solar plexus chakra. And that's, moving that into Shango, which is innovative energy. Now you have yourself moving into a space where like you're being revolutionary and you're rebelling and you're detaching from a lot of things. So your subconscious is really about to start guiding your solar plexus to detach, to rebel, to be revolutionary. There's this level of confidence you have to do that. If you still walking around like, what with me, it's gonna be very difficult. Um, so let's get started. March 20th, we had started with a 3% wax waning crescent moon. The moon rose at 6:45 a.m. and set at 6:06 p.m. We were in the Pisces zodiac energy in the seventh house ruled by Aquarius, so our intuitive energy within that subconscious space, and we were applying it to our one-on-one relationships and our pinnacles and providing balance in that space. The sun rose at 7:03 and set at 7:11. The spring equinox was at 5:25, and that was when the sun crossed the celestial equator. Reminding you guys, on March 17th is when we actually had the equal sun up, sun down time. So the spring equinox in the tropical and in the Vedic are two different things, okay? The Vedic spring equinox started on Friday, March 17th. The tropical spring equinox started on Monday, because now we're dealing with the celestial equator and zodiac energy. And that's when the sun was also on Earth's equator. The north hemisphere went into springtime, the southern hemisphere went into autumn. Then sun entered Aries at 5:30 p.m. About 5 minutes later, we had the International Space Station from 7:48 to 7:57, and then 9:26 to 9:30. And then Pallas 2, again, we know that their genius qualities, was in the west-northwest cluster of M50 and Monoceros. Monoceros is a unicorn constellation. So this is like fantastical, whimsical, magical kind of energy that your genius qualities are like marinating in. And and that was about 9 degrees northeast of Sirius. So it was creating a bit of a triangle there between the magic power energy of Monoceros and then the energy of Sirius, bringing you into a space of honor, wealth, and passion. It was the energy of Jupiter and Mars. So it was like honor and dignity and stuff like that. So, tapping into your superpowers, tapping into that Knight of Pentacles and stuff like that. That was definitely the vibe. Tapping into your Magician Tarot inside is definitely the vibe. Today, March 21st, we started off with the 0% waning crescent moon. So we're coming into that 0 degree of cleaning. We're no longer cleaning. All right. We're at the new moon. It rose at 7:12 a.m. and instead at 7:20 p.m. We're still in that Pisces zodiac energy and our intuitive stuff. But now we moved from the seventh house of balance and moved into the eighth house of transformation. So now we're allowing the subconscious to bring transformation to our intuition. The sun rose at 7:01 a.m. and then it set at 7:12 p.m. So a lot of you guys wrapped some like things up or brought some things new, and that's going to bring a big transformation. And your subconscious is in agreement with it or in disagreement. You have to be honest with yourself. Remove your feelings from your subconscious a little bit. The moon and Neptune are in conjunction at 2:16 a.m. The moon is 3.1 degrees south, minimal angle at 3:46 a.m. The moon will be 2.9 degrees south southeast, and no, this will not be visible, creating a reset with that moon and Neptune pattern or whatever, that intuitive space with the subconscious space, and learning, intuition is kind of like how you express subconscious. Okay. The new moon rose at 1:23, which gives it a true no vibe, kind of like, this is a destiny to your subconscious. The moon is between sun and the earth, and therefore it's not visible. The moon and Mercury were also in conjunction at 9:35 p.m. The moon was 2.1 degrees south, minimal angle at 10:45 p.m. The moon was 2.0 degrees south southeast, and also this was not visible. So you had a triangle there with the moon, your intuitive space, Neptune, your subconscious and your duality, and Mercury, which is your decision-making mind. So again, letting your subconscious, be expressed through your intuition and really, being honest with yourself. Like, expressing your subconscious is definitely on the forefront. Aries begins ascending in eastern sky. Aries is the energy of agriculture, and as it's ascending, it's letting you know it's time to start planting those seeds, right? Starting nurturing spaces, and allowing yourself to be nurtured. And it's located north of the Virgo clusters. Okay. Virgo clusters, is like one of the most dense clusters, and it's a lot of like overthinking and stuff energy. Oh, and this is the vibe of how the equinoxes, the placement of the sun, how they set during the solstice and the equinoxes. All right. The International Space Station was visible today from 8:38 p.m. to 8:44 p.m. and then again at 10:16 p.m. to 10:17 p.m. March 22nd. Oh yeah, Ceres was also opposite Coma Berenices. That was something else I saw on hindsight, because I was really bothered by my hair today. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm trying to set off, but then I ended up just dyeing it purple, and then now I'm thinking in my head like, I don't know what to do with my hair. But that's a lot of energy of Coma Berenices. She was a queen of Egypt, and her husband was off the war, and she wanted her husband to come back. So she cut her hair off and gave it to Aphrodite. And when her husband came back, he was like, "Oh shit, bitch, you cut your hair? That's wild." And he was mad. But she was like, "No, if I want to cut my hair off, you want to came home. Aphrodite brought you home." And then Aphrodite was like, "Her hair was so beautiful, I put it in the stars." So that Coma Berenice's star constellation is also, it's supposed to be a depiction of her ponytail holder, and her ponytail. And I think that was cool because I was definitely finna cut my shit off. The International Space Station was visible from 8:38 p.m. to 8:44 p.m. and then again from 10:16 p.m. to 10:17 p.m. Tomorrow, March 22nd, now we're still at 0 degrees, but now we're building up, okay? Now we're in the waxing crescent moon, which is the energy of building upward. We are in the moon rising at 7:37 a.m. and setting at 8:33 p.m. We are in that energy of new beginnings with Aries in the 8th house of transformation, still ruled by our subconscious of Pisces. And letting you know that Aquarius rules the 8th house in the Vedic chart. So innovative, detached, rebellious energies in that space. Also, the AM visibility of Saturn begins, so you'll start getting some of your challenges and stuff in the morning and not just at night. The moon and Jupiter are minimal angle at 5:45 p.m. The moon will be 0.7 degrees south southeast. Conjunction at 4:57 p.m. The moon will be 0.8 degrees south, and we'll be able to observe that at 7:35 p.m. with a 1.1 degree east separation. That's your intuition and your wisdom coming to a space and bringing you some generosity to your intuition, especially if you've been listening to it. Like, here's a cookie for listening to me and letting me, do what I need to do. You know what I mean? The evening visibility of the moon begins, so now your intuition is also in the spotlight in the evening again. The International Space Station is visible from 7:50 to 7:59, and then again from 9:28 to 9:32. Aries is entering the Virgo zodiac energy on March 22nd, so now we have an alignment of the Aries and the Virgo zodiac and constellation. March 23rd, now we're building up 2% waxing crescent moon, the moon of regeneration, where positive energy is taking form. The moon rising at 8:02 a.m. and will be setting at 9:45 p.m. We are in the Aries zodiac energy with this moon of positive energy and regenerating and sorting through confusing emotions and creating goals, manifesting your intentions internally. We're not really like, muscle, muscle, muscle. It's more like brain muscle with the moon. Yeah. But what it's doing is creating transformation in your space and new beginnings. The sun rising at 6:58 a.m. and will be setting at 7:14 p.m. The moon and Venus will be a minimal angle at 6:09 a.m. The moon will be 1 degree south southeast. Conjunction will occur at 5:34 a.m. The moon will be 1 degree south. We'll be able to observe that at 9:29 p.m. with a 5.6 degree west southwest separation. Occultation is going to take place, between the 23rd and the 24th. With moon and Venus. So your intuitive space coming into your pinnacles, to your emotional self, that forgiveness of self and others, working on that empathy and all those things. Let your intuition be your guide on that day with the emotions. The moon is on ascending node, so now we see the intuition rising on us. And that'll be at 10 p.m. The International Space Station will be visible from 8:40 to 8:46, and then again from 10:17 to 10:19. And then you'll be able to catch these zodiacal lights. And this is when sunlight is scattering off the debris that's left by comets after sunlight. And the dustier it is, the more zodiacal lights you'll see. Now, this will not be visible if you live in a city area where there's a lot of like light pollution and stuff like that. So that's why it's good to try to see it like at dusk, in an empty space. There is a triangle forming with Adhara, Wheaton, and Aludra at lower left of Sirius, the Canis Major constellation. And this makes up the hind foot, rear, and tail. So we have the triangle of the Canis Major constellation, which is that loyal dog of Orion that follows behind Orion. We know the energy of the dog. This is man's best friend. This is devout loyalty. This is, non-restricted emotion, non-restricted companionship kind of energy. So that is, rising up in the sky. That little triangle is rising up in the sky. Those three stars together bring a lot of fortune and riches, which is pretty neat. Aludra, those three stars, the Adhana, the Wezn, and Aludra, those are the virgin stars. They deal a lot with money, not really caring about money as you know it and worldly desires as you know it, but being in alignment with abundance overall and having that innovative mind, like more in tune with the nature, with that abundance. And then, Sirius star is about passion. It leads the way. That is the nose of the dog. Kind of like Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer is the energy of Canis. Now, for ancient Egyptians, the Canis major constellation was the Anubis constellation. So you can make those alignments with that set energy. Also, Pluto will be at 0 degrees 0 minutes Aquarius at 8:14 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Before it's entering the Aquarius zodiac at 8:14 a.m. So if you guys want to align with me to do some meditative breathing at that time, we could do that for Pluto's interest, and then pray for us because that's gonna be wild, guys. March 24th will be at the 7% waxing crescent moon. The moon rising at 8:28 a.m. and will be setting at 10:56 p.m. Now we're in the Taurus zodiac energy, so we're building things. We're tapping into our heart with our intuition. We're manifesting the pinnacles and stuff like that. The sun rises at 6:56 a.m. and it'll be setting at 7:15 p.m. This is the best visibility of Earth shine on the moon just after dark. So you'll be able to see like a full orbit of the moon. It'll appear like a full orbit, but it won't be that physically. The moon and Uranus will be at minimal angle. So like, all right, coming back to the Earth shine being on the moon. So that visibility of like the full orb of the moon is kind of giving you that richness, that positive energy that waxing crescent is coming to, because it's making you feel, it's showing you insight on what the completeness will look like. If you really tap into what your intuition is supposed to do, like this is what it's going to look like, and it's supposed to be inspiration to you. So let it be that. Can I have your autograph? You're too sweet. The moon and Uranus will be at minimal angle at 9:25 p.m. The moon will be 1.2 degrees north-northwest. The current conjunction occurs at 10:05 p.m. The moon will be 1.2 degrees north. We'll be able to see that at respective moments. So at 9:25 p.m. you'll be able to see the moon and Uranus. At 10:05 p.m. you'll be able to see it again. Uranus is that progressive energy. Now we're sitting in that Taurian zodiac. So, it's coming from a space of pentacles and manifesting and relationships and forgiveness and being progressive in that energy, being progressive in your emotional self and your heart chakra self. The International Space Station is visible from 7:51 p.m. to 8 p.m. and then again at 9:29 p.m. to 9:33 p.m. The Big Dipper, for all my sky watchers that like to pull out the telescopes and stuff like that, the Big Dipper will be high in northeast in the sky, and it'll be standing on its handle. So the handle will be going up, and you'll be able to follow the front of the dipper points, the point to Polaris, which is like the front of the dipper cut. And if you follow the curve of the handle, it'll lead you to Arcturus. And Arcturus is in the Boots constellation. It's located at the left knee. And that actually gives off the electromagnetic energy, or the ideal of, I don't know if you guys know the story of Enki and Enlil, but it gives off the energy of Enlil. This is the watcher, the guardian, dealing with also dark aspects, because even though this was an Anunnaki that like assisted the humans, this was also an Anunnaki that was kind of like, be my slaves too. So like, that balance, that little dark light balance there. And if you follow the Big Dipper backwards, you'll end up at the Leo constellation. March 25th will be at a 13% waxing crescent moon, that moon of positivity. The moon rising at 8:38 a.m. and there's no set time for setting. We're going to be in the Taurus zodiac energy still, and that pinnacles in the bit and stuff. And we're in the ninth house of expanding and knowledge and traveling. If you want to like ask for those of you guys who like to astral project or travel to other spaces, that's the thing, and that's going to bring you to a space of new beginnings. The sun rises at 6:55 a.m. and the sun will be setting at 7:16 p.m. The moon and Pleiades will be in conjunction. I told y'all we was going to touch that. The moon and Pleiades will be in conjunction. And I told you Pleiades was the energy that's assisting you with your wounds. How will you deal with your wounds? Allow your intuition to help you sort through some of those wounds on this day. You might feel that in some of your experiences that touch your feminine side of self will probably, touch a bit of your wounds to remind you, hey, you didn't fully heal from this. Let's work on this. Or maybe you did fully heal from that. We could put that to the side now and stop trying to use it as excuses to get in your own way. The conjunction occurred at 9:41 p.m. The moon was 2.2 degrees south. Minimal angle at 10:21 p.m. The moon was 2.1 degrees south. The International Space Station was visible from 8:41 p.m. to 8:47 p.m. and then again at 10:18 p.m. to 10:19 p.m. The International Space Station is always visible around the Draco and Cephas constellations. That's the thing. In southwest of the Triangulum constellation. And also, Mars is entering the Cancer zodiac at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on March 25th as well. So you can, expect that aggressive, assertive energy coming into your subconscious. So you go ahead and keep ignoring your subconscious. You're about to start getting yelled at. About to start getting tapped on that ass. Okay? And then the warriors are coming out. The warriors of the subconscious, the warriors of the home and family. It's time to come out and protect the home and family. It's time to come out and start, having a say so and creating that discipline and the new beginning energy on how the home and family structure is. Bring back the village. In my mind, is bringing back the village, bringing back the tribe like energy. I won't get into that, but yeah, that's what I meant. March 26th, we're at a 21% waxing crescent moon. The moon rising at 9:33 a.m. and will be setting at 12:05 a.m. We are in that Gemini zodiac energy. So now we're moving from the pentacles and our emotional self and forgiving, and now we're moving into community because now we moved on and now we're in a healed space with our heart chakra to where now we can start communicating, we start coming back into certain spaces, and it's bringing us success because we're in the 10th house of success ruled by Taurus energy. The sunrise at 6:53 a.m. will be setting at 7:17 p.m. There will be evening visibility of Mercury, so expect some patterns and decision-making skills start coming into the night. The moon and Aldebaran will be in conjunction at 6:30 p.m. The moon will be 8.5 degrees north, and even though we are in the Gemini constellation, we are still in the Taurus zodiac, right? So the energy of Aldebaran gives off the vibes of honor and intelligence. It actually gives off a Mars energy, but it's located at the eye of the Taurus, which is called the follower star because it follows behind Pleiades. Okay, excuse me. But the eye of the Taurus, the eye of the bull. What does the bull see, and how does the bull feel about it? What does the bull think about? What does your heart see that the rest of your chakras are not seeing? And that's why you're being led by the heart because you got to get that in order. You really have to have these conversations. The same way you have to have conversations with your inner children. Your inner children is the same conversation you need to have with each of your chakras, each of your planetary. Like, what do you see? What's going on in this space here that you feel like you have the opportunity to, spill out everywhere? You have to be the gatekeeper of your chakras. You have to give your chakras discipline and order. Because even your chakras have chakras. Like even your heart chakra has a root chakra. So what are you doing with the root chakra of your heart chakra? That matters. So like having those kind of conversations on that day could be very conducive, I guess, a word we can use. The International Space Station will be visible from 7:53 p.m. to 8:01 p.m. and then again from 9:30 p.m. to 9:33 p.m. Oh yeah, that's Canis Major, and those are how all the stars are set up on there. The 26th and 27th, Aries crosses the 10th magnitude spiral galaxy M100. So you'll be able to see that for all my star watchers out there. You'll be able to see Aries cross that spiral galaxy. Very pretty looking from the pictures I saw. March 27th will be at a 30% waxing crescent moon, still in that mood of regeneration, bringing positive changes and working on our goals and manifesting those things. The moon rising at 10:13 a.m. and setting at 1:11 a.m. I like that number. We're still in the Gemini zodiac energy, so we're coming into the space positive energy in our community, in our family, in our neighbors, siblings, parents, kind of vibes and connections. The sunrise at 6:51 a.m. and will be setting at 7:18 p.m. Mercury and Jupiter will be at minimal angle at 12:52 a.m. Mercury will be 1.3 degrees north-northwest. We'll be able to observe that at 7:52 p.m. with a 1.3 degree northwest separation. So Mercury is like your decision-making mind, your morality, your ethical code, and Jupiter is bringing the wisdom to that. So like if you find yourself repeating patterns and stuff like that, your wisdom space will be like catching you on that. That's why I said get the pattern at have fun. That's why it says get the pattern at, start paying attention to some of the patterns and, learn about your numerology chart and come to me if you need help with your numerology chart so I can show you the different challenge patterns and stuff that you can have in your life to be aware of, to pay attention to, and allow it to bring you wisdom. Like, I see this pattern repeating. What do I need to learn this time? Also, move in gratitude. Be thankful. I am thankful for the fact that I'm experiencing this again with a different pair of eyes and a different, third eye mindset or whatever going on, to where I can absorb this different. I can get a new lesson from this. I can, gain a new perspective. Allow yourself to have that. The International Space Station is at 8:42 p.m. to 8:47 p.m. And then again, we'll be able to see that from 10:19 p.m. to 10:20 p.m. Mercury will be entering the ninth house. So now, because Mercury and Jupiter in alignment, now let Mercury just come into the space of expansion, traveling, higher education, working with foreign entities, learning about things of other cultures, other spaces that are foreign to you. The true node, which is your pathway to your destiny, is entering the second house. So now the pathway to destiny is coming through your heart. The second house is the pentacles, the materialism, the self-esteem and self-worth and the forgiveness and stuff. If you want to get through it, you're gonna have to get through it. You're coming from the first house of your temperament and coming into the second house of emotions. And you should be ready by the 27th. We done spent like a good 7 days on our emotions, right? March 28th, these are visuals. See the 21st, you see the movement of Saturn, and that's where you can find Saturn at. For those of you guys that's on Instagram, you guys are kind of backstage, so you don't get to see the screen that I'm sharing on my laptop. You guys can catch it out on YouTube. Bless Nobody is my YouTube page. This is the Wednesday with the silver moon meeting Jupiter. And then this is the alignment that we have with the moon and Venus and Jupiter. It's a nice like little portal opening up right there. So it's bringing like, wisdom to your emotions, wisdom to like the need of forgiveness, and wisdom to your business like self too. Because, Venus doesn't just rule over love, it also rules over wealth as well. And then here we have, you can tell not only can you see the movement of the moon as it goes from Venus to Jupiter, but now you see the relation. Like in the beginning of the month, Venus and Jupiter were aligned. They actually were in conjunction. And then, so as we get, towards the end of the month, the middle of the month, Venus is moving more north towards Uranus, I believe, and Jupiter is moving toward more south towards Mercury. So then by the time March 27th comes, we have Mercury and Jupiter together. I went backwards a little bit on this slide. Also, this is the moon alignment with Pleiades before it enters. So it takes that energy of Pleiades and gives you that intuitive energy of like your emotions and your wounds and how you're dealing with them before it makes it to your heart chakra. So you should have moments, of clarity there, where you're really sorting through your feelings. And then once you get to that Venus space, you should have a certain level of grasp there, which is important. That's it for that? Okay. I want to come back to this. This is slide 32. I remember that. So this is the 26, 27, which is the moon still near Pleiades. Then you see the Orion's belt and Betelgeuse. March 27th, you see the Mercury and Jupiter alignment. I'm trying to move up to the 8. This is the Coma Berenices galaxy that I was talking about and the movement thereof. How Aries is supposed to be in alignment with this. This is tracking Aries from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. across the galaxy for all my star watchers out there that like to have telescopes outside. This is a comet that we have. See this green circle here? This is the comet that is along the Virgo constellation for my sky watchers. March 28th and 29th. Now you can see the pathway of the moon through the Gemini zodiac, the Gemini constellation. Pollux and Castor are the Gemini twins, or in other cultures, it's the Abeji twins. And the moon is making its way towards Mars after, because, Mars is in Gemini or moving towards Cancer. And then you also see a bit of a triangle space here between Castor, Pollux, and the moon. The intuitive space coming into the Gemini twins. That's a space of creation. If you guys are into spelling, I said it right. That'll be a good time to do a collective spell. Tap in with your community, people of your immediate space, and do that spell. Also, you have an even longer triangle here with Castor, Pollux, and Procyon star. Procyon being the tip of the star, and I don't even think I wrote down those ones. Oh yeah, that's the star and Canis Minor, the small dog, and this is like Mercury and Mars energy. So being more assertive verbally, being quick-minded, a good talker, but you could also be jealous, hasty, and a hot temper. And we know Catherine and Pollux is like a duality between being violent and being valiant. All right. So, if you're one of those warrior type energies, this is a good time to, do a collective with that energy. And then Mars being right there, yeah, you got like a couple different shapes you can make, but this is definitely like a war filled night right here. I would watch out for like military news type things going on around 28th and 29th because of how these planets are aligned with one another and the different kind of triangles they're making with each other. And then if you are, if you do claim yourself to be that energy of Oya or Ogun or Shango or any of those warlike energies, you could definitely tap into this planetary alignment on the 28th. So let's get into the 28th. Because I didn't do that, right? Yeah, the 28th, we're at a 40% waxing crescent moon, which is that moon of positive energy and regeneration. The moon rising at 11:01 a.m. and will be setting at 2:12 a.m. We're still in a Gemini zodiac energy of your communication and community. We're putting that in the 11th house now. So now we're in the house of humanitarian pursuits, what you do for your society, how you're helping other people. The sun rises at 6:50 a.m. and the sun will be setting at 7:19, which is 1919, which I love because that's born knowledge, born knowledge. The moon and Mars will be at minimal angle at 8:22 a.m. The moon will be 1.5 degrees north. Conjunction at 8:35 a.m. The moon will be 1.5 degrees north, and we'll be able to observe that at 1:52 a.m. with a 4.6 west-northwest separation, bringing that intuitive energy into your assertive space, your new beginning space, okay? And that's fun and important. It's very important, allowing your intuitive space to be welcoming to the new beginnings because we know how difficult it is for earthlings to accept change. It can be like very overwhelming. The AM visibility of the moon is happening 5:30 p.m. There's a max declination of the moon, so the moon is going to seem very, very big, very close. Mercury and Jupiter will also be in conjunction at 10:28. Mercury will be 1.5 degrees north. The moon in Teja posterior will be at minimal angle at 1:54 p.m. The moon will be 0.2 degrees north. Conjunction at 4:06 p.m. Oh no, that's 5 degrees north. Conjunction at 4:06 p.m. The moon will be 5.1 degrees north, and we'll be able to observe that at 8:04 p.m. with a 5.4 degree north-northeast separation. Teja posterior is a star in the Cancer. Excuse me. It's a star in the Gemini constellation. So we're in the Gemini zodiac and constellation at the same time. So it's kind of like zoomed in on community, zoomed in on your immediate area. Reach out to your peoples at this time because this is protection. This is returning from a journey. So you have experienced some things, and it's time to get back to those spaces, that Gemini space. And we also entered the first quarter moon, which is the moon of caution at 10:33 p.m. that day. And this is time to take action. And it may deal with some type of doubt or discouragement or hurdles to keep you from wanting to move forward and manifesting, probably channeling a lot of this warlike energy. So expect some resistance on some of your goals around this time too. But don't let that discourage you. Doesn't have to be that. Keep track of yourself and your goals, accept the challenges as part of the journey, and manifest productive, positive thoughts while you're going through these things. Citrine, carnelian, and rosemary are really good things to have around your altar spaces during this time to help you feel like you keep moving forward. I will also say mint too, because it kind of opens you up. March 29th, now we're coming into a space of we're in the first quarter moon, still in the moon of caution. We start the day off with. We're rising at 11:54 a.m. and setting at 3:05 a.m. The moon of caution is coming to that Cancer energy. Caution on the home and family. Protect the home and family. It's kind of time to come out about the home and family and how we wish to protect it and how it hasn't been protected and how it's been destroyed. We have to reconnect it. Again, coming back to the energy, we're in the number 7, so it's time to start attracting your tribe and stuff. And that's in the 11th house in the energy of your humanitarian pursuits. The sun rises at 6:48 a.m. and the sun will be setting at 7:20 p.m. The moon in Castor will be at minimal angle at 10:23 p.m. The moon will be 5.4 degrees south-southwest. Castor again is that star in the Gemini twins, giving off that energy of unity and togetherness and honor and intellect because it has a Mercurian type of energy. Comet C 2019 U5, which is Pan-STARRS, it passes the perihelion, and it'll be visible from 9:01 p.m. to 5:06 a.m. And it's coming from the constellation Virgo, that comet, and you'll be able to view that from Washington State if you're over that way. Maki Maki, which is a star, which is kind of like it's a whole constellation, honestly, and it's in alignment with the creator deity of Easter Island. It brings on the energy of your connection to the environment, the connection of the intellectual versus with the warrior. So we're still coming into that warrior space. It's a lot of energy pulling our inner warrior out this week. It's kicking off with that Pluto entering Aquarius, that Shango energy. Shango was a warrior, and that's why I want y'all to do your own research on the Shango. And I don't want to tell you the story. I want you to read the story yourself so that you can internalize the parts that you need to internalize for your soul. Because I've internalized the parts I need to internalize for my soul, and that's how I'm going to tell you the story. And I don't want to give y'all the disservice. I think that you guys deserve to have that experience yourself. But Maki Maki will be at opposition with Coma Berenices, so be at opposition with that energy of beauty and design and fashion, kind of like that celebrity energy. The warrior is going to come in opposition with that celebrity Hollywood energy. It's going to be like, hey, what the fuck? It's going to come at opposition with that royalty, sitting on my throne kind of energy, like, hey, what's up? So be mindful of that. March 30th will be at a 60% waxing gibbous moon. Now that we're in the waxing gibbous moon, we're moving into the moon of ending. So we're starting to see results of our work, tangible results come after the first quarter moon. So it's like after you deal with the doubt and you get through it and you keep pushing, you start getting your pinnacles. Like, oh, you made it. Here you go. You're going to feel your achievements, but don't let that get in your way either, make you feel like you're done. Keep going. All right. This is going to be in that Cancer energy. So it's going to be in that home and family energy where you feel like, we defended it. We got the warrior energy out. Blah, 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 blah. No, we're not done. That was just the first battle. Keep going. That moon rising at 12:53 p.m. and setting at 3:51 a.m. The sunrise will be at 6:46 a.m. and setting at 7:21 p.m. The moon in Castor will be in conjunction at 2:32 a.m. The moon will be 5.7 degrees south. And then the moon in Pollux will be in conjunction at 6:36 a.m. The moon will be 2.6 degrees minimal angle at 5:30 a.m. And the moon will be 2.4 degrees south-southwest. We'll be able to observe that at 3:30 a.m. with a 2.7 degree southwest separation. So moon and Castor and Pollux, we talked about that. Those are the Gemini twins. That is the Mercurian energy of honor, being valiant and being violent, being a victor, returning. That's the Mercury and Mars energy, those two stars. So you got the intellectual warrior, like being militant minded, learning how to play chess, moving, on the board like that militant mind. And then Venus and Uranus are probably going to align on March 30th. So we had that movement happening. The minimal angle will occur at 5:04 p.m. and Venus will be 1.2 degrees north-northwest. And then conjunction will occur at 2:07 a.m. Venus will be 1.3 degrees north, and we'll be able to observe that at 8:24 p.m. with a 1.2 degree north-northwest separation. So you have your heartfelt self sitting in that space of progressive energy. And so you're going to need that because your emotions are going to be tired. They're going to be affected by all the stuff that's going on. But you have to have that space, that Uranus to say, we got to keep going. We got to keep going. We got to keep changing things and renewing things. This is for the self-esteem. This is for the love, the forgiveness, etc., etc. March 31st, still in that 69% waxing gibbous moon phase, rising at 1:54 p.m. and setting at 4:28 a.m. Now we're in that Leo zodiac energy, that lion energy, that royal, that regal vibe, that leadership, king of the jungle. The sun, the moon falls. It's that courageous, confident energy. Let's tap into that. Also, Leo is the energy of your inner child, your fifth house, emotional, your dramatic self. So expect some dramatics occurring. Something's going to happen in the drama world for attention, some type of attention distraction, because it's coming from the 12th house of secret agendas and subconscious and things of the unknown, right? And we have the home and family, that Cancer energy ruling over the 12th house right now. The sunrise at 6:45 a.m. It will be setting at 7:22 p.m. The moon in Persepi will be at minimal angle at 9:01 a.m. The moon will be 3.2 degrees north. conjunction will occur at 8:04 a.m. The moon will be 3.3 degrees north, and we'll be able to observe that at 3:41 a.m. with a 4.8-degree north-northwest separation. Now, Persephone is a star in the Cancer constellation. So even though we're in the Leo zodiac, we're still in the Cancer constellation, and it's located at the head of the crab, and it rules over the right eye. This is the energy of Mars and the moon. It can bring on some disease. So, you know, we know what diseases are on the forefront in the news right now. You know, watch out for those. Anything, you know, any type of new strains or anything to come, some level of disgrace and brutality. This is also tapping into the brutal ancestors, which is why I still want you to come into that energy of Oya, Ogun, and Shango. They are on the forefront. It's warlike energy these next 2 weeks with Pluto entering Shango. I'm telling you. The south pole of the moon is tipped into view at 3:45 a.m. The moon is the furthest distance to the earth at 7:29 a.m. The Mercury will be at perihelion, which will mean it will be closest to the sun, so we won't really be able to see it too well, but it'll be super duper bright. And then Mercury is also entering the Aries constellation at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you guys join the Cosmic Coven, in the Cosmic Coven is when I do the collective breathings during the planetary transits. I also be giving diary entries, not diary, but like journal entries. So I'll give you some questions and things to focus on during each day. You know how I give you guys the astrological update and I give you guys basically a download that I have in alignment with what the stars are doing for that day? Well, if you're in the Cosmic Coven, not only will you receive that, but you'll receive a journal. Like, these are things that you should journal about on this day. These are the things that we should talk about on this day. So, you know, that's something that, you know, if you want to align with me, we can look into together. But yeah, we're going to do a collective breathing on Aries constellation that day at 5 p.m. EST. And then now we're coming into our April Fool's Day. Also, April Fool. Oh, yeah, I'm about to get it. I'm going ahead of myself. April 1st, we're in the 78% waxing gibbous moon. The moon rising at 2:57 p.m. and setting at 4:59 a.m. We are in the Leo zodiac energy still. Our inner child, dramatic energy, also, you know, the masculine side of our subconscious, the experiences our subconscious are giving us. All that vibe is coming from the Leo. 12th house is the hidden agendas and stuff, and it's going towards the home and family. The sun rises at 6:43 a.m. and will be setting at 7:23 p.m. Parima, which is a star in the, I want to say the Virgo constellation. Hold on, let me check myself.
Don't you think you're talking a bit fast?
Am I? Am I talking fast?
Yes, you're talking very fast.
I be trying to get through stuff. I've been doing this for a minute. This is a star in the Virgo constellation, and this is the energy of prophecy, having the ability to prophesy things. This is a good time to start sowing and planting your seeds under this star. This star gives off the energy of Mercury and Venus, so it's a little bit of pinkies up, knowledge, you know, a little bougie energy and stuff like that. Don't let him get on the bed. So Parima will be opposite the sun at 11:11 a.m. I like those numbers. This will be the best visibility of the year for Parima. And then the Global Astronomy Month starts April 1st, and this is led by the group Astronomers Without Borders. So starting April 1st, you know, that's the Global Astronomy Month. And that's why I really want to get into like sharing some pieces of information. And this planetary forecast, I'm going to share with you guys one piece of information in this planetary forecast to kickstart that. And I'm going to do that after this one. So April 2nd, we come into the 85% waxing gibbous moon. The moon rising at 3:59 p.m. and setting at 5:26 a.m. We are still in the Leo zodiac energy. And then we're in the first house. So this is the body we're born in. We're coming back into the womb space. Physical appearance and temperament, goals and new projects that were manifested are finally taking form. The attitude and our approach to life is taking on a new beginning. You're just moving them on some new shit, right? That first house being ruled by that Leo energy of confidence and being ambitious and being a leader. Be mindful, because if you're imbalanced or overstimulated, it can be a bit overbearing. The sunrise at 6:42 a.m. will be setting at 7:24 p.m. The moon in Regulus will be at conjunction at 5:27 a.m. The moon will be 3.7 degrees north, minimal angle at 7:38 a.m. The moon will be 3.4 degrees north-northeast, and we'll be able to observe that at 4:38 a.m. with a 3.9 degree separation. Regulus is the brightest object in Leo constellation. It's actually 4 stars paired in 2 pairs, so it's 2 binary stars. And because it's the brightest, it brings on the energy of riches and glory. It's actually called the Little Prince. Because of that energy, it brings on the vibes of Mars and Jupiter, being aggressive, but more and assertive, but more so in the generosity sense of pentacles and wealth and just sharing that space. Military honor is in order with those two energies together with that star. Also, the midheaven enters Virgo constellation. So now we officially have Earth along the backdrop of the Virgo constellation. So allow the Earthlings to come into a aha moment of servitude and organization and discipline. And maybe if I do enough videos talking about gatekeepers, maybe that'll be a part of the Virgo energy as we start to manifest that. So coming into this, you can see like how close all the planets are. You got the progressive energy of Uranus right over here. Aries not too far, and you can create a triangle with Uranus, Aries, and Jupiter. Aries being that divine feminine warrior energy, Uranus being progressive, and Jupiter being the generosity and wisdom. So you can create something with those 3 energies, or you can create something with Mercury, Aries, and Uranus. Those 3 energies also having a straight line between Mercury and Jupiter, that decision making self and making decisions out of wisdom. Allow that to be a portal as well. We also have a nice obtuse triangle between your experiences, your generosity and wisdom, and your decision making skills. So you can create with that energy as well. We don't have any squares with these. Thank goodness. I don't see no squares, because squares is the ops. Squares is opposition. That's things you don't want to deal with. You might have a bit of a square angle between the divine feminine and the divine masculine Jupiter energy. So, we gotta, we can rise above that because it's not a complete 90-degree angle there. You can create a big ass obtuse triangle here with your experiences, your subconscious, and your divine feminine energy, or your divine feminine energy, your wisdom, and your subconscious, or your decision making, all of that. It's just so many triangles there that you guys can channel into to, do your works, do your spelling or whatever. And then we see the movement of Mars from the 1st to the 31st, moving from past Pleiades through Taurian energy and stuff like that. And then we see Betelgeuse being the shoulder of Orion. March 17th to 24th, we have the Messier object hunt. There's like a lot of Messier objects are like spiral galaxies, and that's probably why you'll start to see online a lot of like galaxy photos and videos and stuff, because it's a race to see how many galaxies can we catch, because now a lot of them are visible at the moment. All right, so we're done with those. So I'm going to read some of these notes off, and then we're going to get into our astronomy lesson for this planetary forecast, and then I'm pretty much done with you guys. I thank you guys for sitting with me for this long. This was a job. You heard me. Saturn is extending its angular separation from the sun by March 31st. Saturn starts to rise 75 minutes before dawn, and you'll be able to find it in East Aquarius 1 hour before sunrise. Neptune is not visible this month. It passes through solar conjunction March 15th. Sunrise and sunset applies to the sun's top edge, which is 1.4 degree, 1/4 degree higher. And because it has an atmospheric refraction at the horizon, like we make the sun look kind of round, it makes the timing a little off. So this is why they said that on the spring equinox in the tropical chart, we don't exactly get equal sunrise and sunset. But I already told you, the equinox on the Vedic chart was Friday, March 17th. That's when we had 7:08 a.m. and 7:08 p.m. What else? Mercury is hidden in sunset this month, so we don't get to see Mercury until like next month-ish, like we went over. Venus is our evening star. Venus has been looking beautiful all month, let me tell you. Mars crosses the Taurus horns to the Gemini feet, moving towards the upper left of Venus. Yeah. So you have that aggressive, assertive energy going from your heart space over to your community. So you're taking that passion, your emotional passion across those constellations. Jupiter is going to be 2 fists lower the right of Venus. So when you see Venus, create a fist and move it to the lower right, and you'll be able to see Jupiter Uranus is in the west above Venus, and I just showed you guys all the triangles that you can make there. And now I want to get into telling the time with the Big Dipper. That's the information I want to give y'all today. Hold on, let me start this first. So this slide right here is showing you how you could tell time with the stars. All right. So a broken watch tells the correct time twice a day. The Dipper clock gives the correct time on March 6th. So you go off the time of March 6th or whatever, and this is the math. So time equals the Dipper time. You see like this round clock here. So we use the 24-hour clock instead of the 12 clock. We use the front of the Dipper. We take the North Star and draw a straight line between the North Star and the front of the Dipper, and that tells us what the hour is, what the Dipper time is. And then we subtract it by 2 times the number of months since March 6th. Right now we're still in March, so it's like 2 times what, 0? I don't know. It's kind of weird in the month of March, but they gave you an example. So the example is if you face north the night of April 25th, you'll notice that the hand is on the 24. So the time equals 24 and 2 times 1.6 months. Oh yeah, so you do the you do a decimal. I don't feel like doing decimal work right now. Today is March 21st, so you can do the 6 divided by 21 to find out what number to multiply 2 by. And so you take the 24 minus 2, times whatever. In fact, I don't really have space to do it. Let me see if I have the calculator on my. I was saying if I had a calculator on my laptop, and I do.
Can I ask you a little question?
What's up?
When you're talking about make a fist and put it to the right, you're talking about that right?
Yeah. Always talking about your right.
Did everyone hear that? Did everyone hear that, or did you pause the live?
No, I can hear you.
Oh.
The next time I do the planetary forecast, I'm going to talk about how you can measure the sky with your hand, because there's different hand motions that you can do that'll tell you how many degrees each planet is apart. And so when you guys hear me say, oh, this is 0.6 degrees south, southwest, you'll be able to go outside, use your hand and say, oh, okay, I see the star now. I see the, you'll be able to do that. Okay, so 6 divided by 21 is 0.28. Did I do that math right? 2.29. I don't know if my logic right with the math. So I'm just gonna go by this example until I get used to it, and then next join I'll do it. But the Dipper time, and then so it's 24 minus 2 times 1.6, because that's what April 25th is, 1.6 months away from March 6th, and that equals 24. 3.2, which is 20.8 hours on the 24-hour clock. So we're going to convert the decimals into minutes. So you're going to take the 2.8, you're going to take the 0.8 and the times it by 60 because it's 60 minutes. You're going to get 8:48 p.m., which is local standard time, because 20 is 8, because 20 take away 12 is 8, right? That's how I'm able to tell military time. I always subtract 12. So it's 8:48 p.m. on this clock. And that's how you tell the time with the Big Dipper. That's how people were telling the time with the Big Dipper. And I also want to give you guys a little cheat about what's going on in April. So we're going to have our pink full moon April 6th. This is called the pink moon by the Native Americans, because this is when the pink flowers grow in North America. It's also called the breaking ice moon, when the soil starts to, soften up. Also, April 10th, Venus will be moving towards Pleiades. So now you'll have your heart really moving towards healing those emotional wounds. We'll also have a total solar eclipse on 4/20. It's going to be a really nice 4/20, because not only do we have a total solar eclipse, it's also the new moon. And the new moon will be able to be seen in Indonesia, Northwest Cape area. And then we also have the beginning of the Lyrid shower. We're bringing our April showers in April And I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited about this. 420 is going to be a really good day. It's also around the time when my fast ends. The sun will be entering Aries constellation. It's going to be a good time, y'all. I thank y'all for aligning with me for all these hours. This was wild. I also want to bring to you guys, also reminding you of and these are all little tidbits that we'll get into. Just fast going through all these. But these are all little tidbits that we're going to get into during the Cosmic Nobody's University. These are some of the slides that we're going to be going over, and you'll be able to see different information, different math problems we'll be doing. So you can learn how to see the positions of the stars in the sky. And if you would like a personal reading, you guys can reach out. I do astrology charts, numerology charts, and gematria charts. I do one-on-one and group exercises. If you're trying to start an organization and you want to learn how to pair people up, I'll assist you with the pairing through their natal chakra centers. Also, again, everything that I'm doing, I'm starting the enrollment for the school on March 23rd. And then the Cosmic Coven, if you guys want to align with me and start doing the interpersonal exercises as the planets transit and all that fun stuff, and you want to join a fun circle of healers and stuff, the Cosmic Coven is open. And then, it's also other perks that come with joining the Cosmic Coven, as far as free gifts every month and all that fun stuff. And, June 3rd, I'll be in Columbus, Georgia. For Virgo Virgin Talk is the season finale for our podcast. The theme is talking about the history leaders of today. It's going to be a whole event. We are looking for performers and vendors and people to still be on the panel to talk about the history leaders of today. You can purchase your ticket to do that on Eventbrite. And I think, that's it. That's all I have for you today. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for tapping in. Thank you for being here. This took some chunks. I learned some stuff, you learned some stuff, we learned stuff. And now I'm gonna go chill. That's what's happening. So peace, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.